Gamers, howdy! Alright, the Weekly Bounty Hunters is just about to boot up in a couple of minutes. If you're wondering what sort of event are we running here exactly, we're a show match event with skill-based matchmaking happening every Sunday at 5 p.m. CEST. That would be right about now. The event is okay for everybody to sign up for, but since we're originally EU-based, the majority of our players tend to be from the EMEA as well. Still doesn't mean that you couldn't make it if someone from either from your region happens to sign up at the same time, or especially if East Coast NA players join the fun, since the connections are generally pretty doable to coastal Europe. But yeah, as usual, the name of the game tonight is Guilty Gear Strive, and the format is show match style, first to 7 wins matches for the next 3 hours. That's how, there's a lot of S's. I'm your usual host QK, and now let's start checking out what our weekly roster has in store for us. Now, it's really hot though. It's especially since I had to close my balcony. Yeah, I think we have a very unusual lineup today, both for the players as well as for the characters. So we get a decent split between players who we do see fairly often, such as like Leif, ZoKHiZ, I guess Roth as well, Sweg, Puuro, that kind of players. Then players that we haven't seen in a long while, such as Badoor, BLONE. It's been such a long time since I saw BLONE Sin play previously. Or Azor towards the end of the schedule. That's an Azor with Unica as well, not Sin. In fact, I had a lot of difficulties like autopiloting into a couple of these players' main characters. Like I almost forced these players such as like Scarlet, who's usually playing Testament, to sort of in the announcement to play Testament, as well as Azor into Sin. You know, old muscle memory dies very hard. But yeah, we also have quite a few first-timers today on Bounty Hunters. Counting from the top, in the first slot we've got Lunar Testament. In the 5th matchup slot, we got Petrock Sin. In the 6th, we got Kero Testament. By the way, Testament, this is a Testament evening for sure. And then in the last matchup slot, in the number 7, we got 2 players, both never seen before, in a matchup that we probably haven't seen before either. Bedman versus Milia. Jokerstar versus Rat. Not to be, I think, mistaken for our other Rat, the player that we've had like a couple of times on board already. But yeah, very unusual, very interesting lineup. A lot of these matchups, like, have you seen these matchups before? Something like Unica Testament. I mean, I've played that matchup quite a bit myself, but never seen that on Bounty Hunters before. Bedman Milia, super rare. Dizzy Slayer, Bridget Venom. Like, how does this matchup even go with Venom's ability to, you know, zone, start from really far off distance, versus Bridget's ability to sort of interrupt? Like, I think for example, in the Bridget versus Venom matchup, it's going to be interesting to see how the active yo-yo toss is going to play into, you know, Venom's ability to sort of set up and try to control the flow of the match. When Bridget has that sort of ace in the hole tool to basically say no to a lot of zoning for a short period of time. Of course, when you throw the yo-yo, it's in there and you can't throw it again. So it's like a super effective projectile for saying, like, I don't want to deal with that for the next half a second, and then hopefully make something out of it. Could be really interesting. Starting tonight, though, with Testament versus Faust, which, even though sort of like rare-ish characters, I mean, I guess Faust we see quite a bit on bounty hunters nowadays, and Faust is kind of a trendy character. Like, if you want to play a character that isn't like super high level, let's say not super high up in the meta. Or if you want to play off meta, like if you want to play the coolest off meta character, I guess you would play Faust, right? Because we see a lot of Faust players, and all the Faust matches are super fun to watch. Maybe sometimes really frustrating to play against, because Faust is a very strange kind of character. One of those characters that usually have to learn how to play the matchup from grassroots again, completely remaking like how you approach that kind of matchup, because Faust is such a strange character, and you like that is usually the kind of matchups where people are like, okay, I need to put a lot of effort in this matchup. That kind of matchup can also be sort of mistaken for bad matchups, which there of course is a huge difference between a matchup that is disadvantageous and a matchup that is hard to learn or hard to play. The Sin versus Potemkin matchup in the third matchup slot would be kind of like that as well. A lot of Sin players have difficulties with this matchup, but if you study it, if you play the game plan perfectly, then this is actually one of the most annoying matches for Potemkin to play, I think. Especially if you've seen Patachu play this matchup recently against the numerous EU Potemkins, such as like there's a lot of examples of Patachu versus Andros, for example. You can see how frustrating this matchup is to play for Potemkin if Sin just stays far away and plays the whiff punish game. But it is sort of unintuitive base for Sin players. I mean, of course, your character is very neutral based, but I think Sin players on layer 1 tend to rely a little bit more on the approach, like far/elk kind of category, whereas matchups like Potemkin are a little bit more of the walk back and forth, whiff punish with beak driver kind of territory. So really interested to see. There's a lot of different ways to play the Potemkin versus Sin matchup, so interested to see how it's gonna go. But let's circle back into the first matchup at hand, which is gonna be Lunar versus Raph, the Milkman. Got the card lineup, perfect. And let me also, at this very moment in time, send the players notice that it is indeed go time. Pick up our ID as well. Okay. I'm very satisfied that even though we had a lot of like strange connection matches tonight, so we had a lot of Europe to like for example Europe to God, what's the word? The word Aphasia comes really early, apparently, today. Middle East, that's the word I'm looking for. It's funny when you're a commentator and you forget, like, the most common word, and then you're trying to think of, like, alternatives. When it's, like, a very specific, like, a geographical term, for example, and you're like, how do I convey the idea of Middle East without using the word Middle East? Either way, there were a lot of like interesting connection matches tonight, which I think based on the connection test, all of them seem to be working out. So like for example, we got 2 France to Middle East connections. Very interesting stuff. Didn't want to match players against, you know, players of their own region, players that you probably play with already. Try to spice it up as much as possible, because it is supposed to be a learning experience, a fun experience, and especially new experience here on Bounty Hunters. At least that's how I'm sort of trying to make it out to be. Okay, we got both players ready to go. We got Lunar in the left corner versus Raph in the right corner. So two characters who can play long-range keep-away game.
Mankind knew that they cannot
Testament, of course, would love for the opponent to stay still as long as it takes for you to set up your curse, which will take a couple of different fireballs. Usually throw the Grave Reaper first, which is super strong fireball. And then you gotta throw the crow, make it connect with the opponent, and then you have pretty decent rewards after that. But it's a very slow kind of game plan. But then again, Faust has a pretty slow game plan as well. As Faust, you would much rather throw items first, get a little bit of coverage, get like little guys, hammers, meteors, stuff like that, and then use those in order to engage, if you can. Got the curse on though, and no RC. We're gonna go straight into that 2k mini RC. That is the curse for Testament. Ooh, committing into it again. This time the frame trap did work out. I got the backdash there as well with the 6 heavy. Ooh, is it gonna lock? Oh, I was a little bit worried. Raph was locked into that animation going into the item throw super for a very long time. But I think the bomb actually exploded very high up outside the screen. Good trade definitely for Lunar. Finds a counter hit. Here comes the burst. And approaching from the sky again. That high commit mix frame trap didn't have enough meter to RC, so that was basically bet the farm kind of situation, but it definitely paid off. Was able to keep Lunar in the corner in that nice and snug pressure situation. Yeah, this is kind of the kind of decision making you see a lot in, especially Guilty Gear Strive. Ooh, the whiff punish attempt there, dashing very deep. Possession into a big counter hit. We are leaving the ZoKHiZ marker behind, but that is okay. As long as you knock the opponent down, you usually have a way to set up your ZoKHiZ marker uninterrupted with an OTG fireball, if nothing else. Yeah, that's a punish. However, the 2K actually doesn't reach far enough. So no knockdown from that one. Marker has been set. Teleports right under Raph. And into a very decent combo. So we have this zoning kind of character with the red wild assault. You actually have pretty decent combo potential, even when you don't have your sort of your usual conditionals fulfilled, which is usually going to be Stain. Even without Stain, getting like a decent hit into red wild assault or orange wild assault can usually get you the wall for Testament. Ooh, little guy there is definitely going to be useful here. Interruption there actually punishes on the landing, I think. 2S, low profile in and up, and then into a throw. This is a big chance. Now, Lunar is on life disadvantage, trying to swing that 6 heavy. However, it's a little too short. And that move recovers for such a long time, during which Raph was able to actually rev up the teleport, get to the other side, and then still get a punish.
Mankind knew that they cannot.
Yeah, the teleport for Faust, if you don't spend RC in it, it is still quite the potent tool if you're especially punishing like heavier buttons that recover for like half a second to a second or even more. It is probably going to be a slow-paced match though. Both these characters not necessarily known for their huge combo damage, and as their game plans do tend to take a little bit of time to set up, we're probably in for rounds that last for half a minute or more. Very different from, for example, say if you have a Nago on screen. All right, into the mix. Should never mind. The follow-up there ended up missing, as does. Never mind, he actually hits there. The active frames of the Calamity 1. I think Raph actually committed into a jump-in button, which still extended into the Hungry Beast. But I think this is a kill. No, wait, huh? He didn't get the wall break. I think the hole-in-one tool for Faust is usually one of those that... Or wait, is it just from 6 heavy? Or sorry, not 6 heavy, the fishing pole as a follow-up that forces the sort of the wall break always. Maybe that was... Oh, look at that angle! The cross up there, mix. Just barely going under the low profile of Testaments and getting a cross up hit. This is going to be a big punish, though. Oh, no! Missing the timing. Actually getting thrown for their troubles. So gotta be really careful with those mix angles and timings. If you connect them in a certain way or most ways, it is gonna be punishable for the opponent. Up for grabs. That was a really nice interruption or like aggression there from Raph. Noticing that they did throw the trumpet, so rushing forward into a position where even if they had to take stuff on block from Testament, it was not gonna be enough pushback to push them away from where the trumpet was gonna land. And that after picking the trumpet, it was basically a sealed deal. You're gonna have to take the combo breaker. Either you're blocking the horde, taking the next mix-up, or getting interrupted and probably getting comboed into death after that. Oh, I actually... Wait, So I did put the point into wrong account. Did I? So it's 1-1, right? Or? A little bit of scuff at the start of the event, so that was definitely Raph taking the point there at the end of that one. God, the hit is just making my brain into a melted mush. Yeah, 2-0. I'm pretty sure it was 2-0 as well. Not sure why I've been putting the points on Lunar's account. Alright, that should be good. But the banana peel isn't gonna do that much here, and no escape. Oh, never mind. We get that classic instant air dash escape there. Again, revving up the 6 heavy on the Testament department, getting whip punished by the teleport. And it's not just the heavy buttons or heavy normals either. The fireballs as well, the projectiles are quite nice to be whip punished with a teleport. Now it is Raph who has to take the horde. Ooh, very interesting angle. The Orange Wireless ended up switching sides. Lost the combo, but not the position. And now, what can we do with the positive bonus? Decent amount of meter coming in. The opponent is quite low also. Ooh, was able to hop over the 2k there. Tried to go for a 6p, but once again, the 6 heavy from Faust. The reversal super is gonna work out this time. That was a big value reversal super. There was so much junk in the way. The bomb behind your back exploding half screen or off screen, as well as the little guy that was just about to activate there. Ooh, into a teleport, hard knockdown. There's 2 combos pushing Raph into the corner. A little bit of a shimmy action there. Opponent cursed. Ooh, that's a big one. Unfortunately though, for Lunar, the wall gives in. But the life advantage is still there, and we are finally gonna put a point on the scoreboard. Not letting Raph run away with too much of a lead here.
Mankind knew that they cannot change society. So instead of reflecting...
Yeah, even if you don't do that much damage as Testament, like couple of touches, couple of simple like 2k 2D into S Grave Reaper, he's gonna push the opponent very far back, and you get a couple of those, the opponent is in the corner, and once they're in the corner, they get cursed. That's when you're basically in your element. That's when you're doing the nasty stuff. The kind of stuff that every Guilty Gear character, the grime of every Guilty Gear character, there's always something, always some sort of bullshit kind of hard to deal situation that a Guilty Gear character can put you in. And usually that would be the corner pressure for Testament. Ooh, interesting. The mix actually ended up switching positions there, so now Raph will have to find their way out of the corner. Careful with the bomb though. Missing the 6B on both accounts here. Oh, is that gonna be a punish? 5k no combo. They try to be a little bit more sure that you do get the punish using the K buttons, which you can definitely do. You can press 5k or 2k to guarantee that you will get that punish, especially 2k, which is I think 6 frames per Testament. Get the dub on the board. Raph still sitting on full burst resources, so that could be a quick... Ooh, that was from really far away. The 2 heavy working as a makeshift anti-air, but Faust definitely has those. Committing into the mix again. Get the throw in the corner. Not opting to apply the curse here on the OTG. I think it's probably like it's probably safer and more set play option to go for the curse option on the throw. But you could just dash in for a close slash as well for huge rewards, especially if the wall has not taken too much damage. And now Lunar once again working with a huge advantage. No fear there, pressing 2k on the instant air dash. I thought that was supposed to be a safe jump, but maybe not. Small punish here, landing a little bit too far, and the chip damage of the S-Grey Reaper is gonna be enough for Lunar, evening out 2 points apiece. The early game is soon to be left behind. They've gathered the first bits of information. How do we transition into further matches here? What have we learned from the options that the opponent has played? It has been flowing really well for Lunar as soon as she sort of gets the first hit in. But getting that first say can be a little difficult, especially since Faust has such good buttons. They're not necessarily full screen away, but like buttons such as like that 6 heavy, the 2 heavy, and especially the items can really be annoying to deal when you're trying to use your own projectiles. Nice jump out of there. No punish though. Oh, the backwards moving situation picks up the trumpet. And I like cutting the combo a little short here because the items do inflict quite a bit of gravity decay. That Arbiter 1 was not meant to hit, I guess. Or sorry, Arbiter Sign. Calamity 1 and Arbiter Sign. Arbiter 1. that is the first. Tried to go for a 6P there. However, Raph was revving up a... Oh, okay, we're committing. Basically saying, I think you are going to press a button here. It's gonna be like, and I mean, Raph has been pressing a lot of buttons. You are a Faust player. Why would you not press buttons in those distances? Yeah, a lot of aggressive dashing forward, pressing, especially that 6P from both players. 5k does get a punish here, but no combo. I think you go into 2D usually, if you have the range. Although we've seen that K button into 2D whiffing already once or twice in this set. Once again, the 6P versus the low profile interaction. Into lots of plus frames, got the opponent pressing a button, and that's gonna be a huge hit. At least in the scale of these characters.
Mankind knew that they cannot change society. So instead of reflecting on themselves,
Testament does have pretty long combos if you have a good starter, such as like close slash, 2 heavy, stuff that does launch them. And usually, especially if you have a 50% to spend, because that Nostrovia, comboing into Nostrovia is kind of like your B&B stuff. You get full screen corner carry and potentially get to choose if you want to get wall break at the end of the combo as well. Although a character that has such strong set play in the corner, you're often incentivized to not necessarily take the wall break, although it is okay for Testament being a strong neutral oriented character as well. These are the kind of questions that we have to ask ourselves a lot in Guilty Gear Strive. Ooh, was coming down and got hit by the close slash from Raph. And 6 heavy, yeah, knows that's gonna do a lot of damage. Here's my 6 heavy though. This is the extension there with the 5k, no worries. The combo did still a lot of damage. Switching position, have to take care of that little guy still. And perfectly timed at the end of the little guy hit. 2k, 2D, into the corner you go. After those 2 games, Lunar has had a lot of momentum. Yeah, get 6 speed into... Yeah, there's not a whole lot that you can do against the curse setup like that on Oki. Does manage to push Lunar into the corner, though. That was a nice timing of the jump. Aggressive burst. Keep the target in there. We have 50 meter after all. This should go into a wall break if we don't drop it. Uh-oh, spoke too soon. Cursed it. Just like Testament is gonna land a curse here soon. Maybe. Or maybe we're actually taking the wall. No, just putting them into the corner and into the safe jump setup. The session below with a close slash. I like that. Nice choice of button. She's the high profile button there and revs up the 6-frame low profile, the DLC 2K, as we say in the industry. Ready to go under a lot of those high profile pokes from Faust. Faust is definitely the kind of character who has a lot of really good far-reaching pokes, but most of them are standing pokes. So like you're very vulnerable to 6Ps. That's one of the reasons why you have seen like both of these players swinging that 6P at neutral quite a bit, but especially the Testament side, because a lot of those far range pokes will be sort of killed by a 6P if you have the timing correct. But it kind of works both ways as well. Testament does have... Well, I guess Testament is a little bit more projectile-based. You do have your far slash, which, you know, of course, universally gets low profile by 6Ps, but I guess you're a little bit more worried about the projectile game, right? Saki's marker is on board, does back teleport into it. So now the same conundrum remains. How do we get out of here? Ooh, the 2K gets there in time. Raph was trying to rev up that 6 heavy, which is a little slow of a button. There's the 2 heavy. Big starter, making sure that we do get the conversion as well with that RC. Even Steven's situation. Now we're gonna mix. Ooh, but the Afro is not quite ready to explode. It does break the combo there at the end, but I think the value has already had decent amount of damage there, and most importantly, breaks out of the Oki loop, the set play loop of Faust's. It's one of the worst situations when the Faust player gets a command grab, puts on an Afro on you, especially when the Afro is on fire, and then starts looping the pressure. Once again with the backwards IAD shimmy. Finds Fish in the follow-up situation, half a meter ready to go, or rather a full meter, soon to be full stick of butter for Lunar. So probably not too bothered getting hit here. Oh, that's actually gonna land! Even though this is one of the slowest reversal supers in the game, what it lacks in startup, it definitely makes up for it in range. And that massive range, especially against those extended hurt boxes of Faust. Yeah, it's probably, no matter what Raph would have chosen to poke with here, if you press a button, it's gonna get caught by Calamity 1 from Testament. Right, lots of momentum here for Lunar. How are we gonna break that if we're Raph? There is definitely meditation periods. Taking time to look through or watch through the intros. Trying to compile data. Mini is on board, so Lunar will have to be a little careful here. Try to bypass it, activates it nonetheless, so that's gonna be a combo breaker. Ooh, the wireless ult is actually faster on the startup compared to Mix. I'm surprised. Into the corner you go, once again, starting with the instant air backdash shimmy. Waits for the burst. The 2 heavy is a little too slow to punish, but in the follow-up situation, once again, playing with the close slash, standard strike throw kind of thing. Like we talked about earlier, there is big rewards to be had if you forego using your curse loop on the Oki and just go for the standard Guilty Gear Strive close slash Oki. Testament does have a very standard close slash after all, which is +1 on block, so it's a decent pressure starting kind of a position where you can follow up with some nasty strike throw mix-ups, because you can go into your 2 heavy, which is a vacuum hit. Ooh, gonna miss here, and we do get the punish. A little tricky mix-up there with the teleport. A wrap. Ooh, is that gonna extend? No, it's actually gonna go overhead. The jump 2K with a decently protected hurt box there, drilling over the opponent's shoulders. Nice going low here while the opponent was going high. Deflect Shield does get a little bit of value here, pushing the players apart. Equal amount of life, but that will be instantly vaporized by the curse-empowered Arbiter sign. Lunar seems like she just can't be stopped here after the couple of hiccups in the first couple of games. starting to be last moments for adjustments. From here on out, Raph would have to play perfectly to make the comeback. But this is also the classic FT7 comeback position. You are in 6-2, and it's like, it's do or die from here on out. You have to put on your Super Saiyajin mode or perish. Oh, tried to hit confirm that jump 2K, but from that super far range hit, I guess the mix is just not fast enough to get the conversion. Tried to go for a 6P, but it was too late. Yeah, Faust is a really good 6P in many aspects other than the startup, I think. Used to be one of the fastest 6Ps in old Guilty Gear, but now is a little bit slower in Guilty Gear Strive. What a hit confirm! One hit into the girls. Hits as OTG though, even though you miss it, the last hit is gonna give you the curse. Speaking of the curse, is applied. Ooh, was able to teleport out of the Arbiter one, the low variant. And now falling straight into Rap's pressure. We got our own Afro. It's basically impossible to get out of that when the Faust player throws it and it starts bouncing. Oh, that's no meter burn here. Surprised. I think it was a situation where you kind of have to look at your own meter and be like, okay, am I gonna build it? Am I not gonna build it? But like, you're definitely gonna perish if you don't spend it. Takes it easy, picks up the horn as well. Big value, puts the opponent into the corner. However, tried to go for the instant air backdash shimmy a little late. Got mashed there by the 2K. There's the vacuum of the 2 heavy that we were talking about. That's exactly why Testament has kind of a unique, cool strike throw situation that's unique to them available. But now, oh, that's gonna be a hit. Is that gonna be the set as well? Yes, indeed. Gets a clean combo there with the FRC into close slash, and that'll do it. Lunar takes her debut match here on Bounty Hunters 7-2 against one of our recently very active Faust players. Yeah, after a couple of the first games, Lunar was just completely ready to play and revved up. Hey, you know what they say about shaky hands at the start of events like this? That's why it's often a blessing that it's not a first to 2 or first to 3 kind of a double elimination bracket format. You do actually have some amount of leeway for lots of adjustments back and forth. Whereas double elimination brackets tend to be like, you have to bring your A game immediately. You have to sort of predict a little bit how the opponent wants to play and just put your cards on the table and rely on those. Maybe small window of opportunity to make adjustments. But there's definitely a lot of leeway in FT7s. Next one is gonna be interesting. So the matchup that we were denied last week, Badoor did sign up last week and we had a matchup for Badoor Venom. But the matchup that time just didn't manifest, had some unfortunate scheduling problems. But now here we are, the OG Venom player from back in the day. I believe from all the way from XX era. But did play a lot of Venom in Exert as well. I think, yeah, Exert especially is where we tend to know Badoor on that Venom. And before Venom has played other very similar kind of characters. For example, Badoor is, or used to be at least one of the top Testament players in the region. Definitely shares a couple of similarities, these two characters. That kind of potential for zoning, but the ability to transition from the zoning into the pressure game. That is basically the formula of Guilty Gear zoners. None of the Guilty Gear characters usually are confident or comfortable, or what's the word I'm looking for? None of them really want to maintain the status quo forever. They usually want to transition, like when you get a good hit from the zoning game, you probably want to transition into your best pressure situation. Maybe Axel is sort of an outlier. You could argue that Axel can really win games in pretty much any version of Guilty Gear by just keeping them out. Or maybe Justice, depends on the matchup. But for the most part, like, for example, take these two characters. These two characters can play from very, very far away to start out with. But as soon as they get the hit, you're probably gonna see a lot of set play. You should, at this point, know what Pridget is capable of. But Venom classically has the same kind of thing. You knock the opponent down, you summon a couple of balls, set them in motion, basically guarantee that no matter what they do, they will have to block your setup, buy yourself time to do maybe high-lows, left-rights, and strike throws. I think especially the strike throw aspect, it used to be pretty strong with Venom, of course, and you could, in the past, if I recall correctly, Venom was one of those characters who was able to, was able to combo out of his normal throw. But now, especially in Strive, the sort of identity of Venom has shifted like strongly towards that command grab, the new command grab that he has in this iteration of Guilty Gear. And that can do, especially in the corner, can do a lot of damage if you know how to set it up and or have the resources to, you know, generate enough balls to create so much damage for that one new super that absorbs all the balls and then does damage based on it. So yeah, that's another aspect for like how this character, even if you start from further away, you probably eventually want to transition into the strike throw game in order to land that command grab eventually. Started with a faster button here, Leif. Speaking of the set play, here it comes, trying to block the high lows, goes straight into the metered option with the deflect shield. Works usually pretty well, because like most of the Pridget mix-ups are high lows, and that deflect shield is gonna take care of both of them. Ooh, big, fully charged. Was that a fully charged? I think fairly highly charged Q5. YRC sees it coming. It's gonna be a close slash starter. Oh boy. Ooh, I like that. Instead of taking the wall, which probably wouldn't have killed Badoor, chose to cut the combo short and go into last mix-up to guarantee that if the mix-up actually lands, we got the kill. Definitely the kind of things that you see. Ooh, that was a nasty little cross-up trick. And with that jump D, the sort of functionally the same thing as what's the move that used to be in the old Guilty Gear games? Not Carcass Raid, not Double Head Morbid. What's the dive kick special used to be called? I guess it doesn't matter here. Match Struggle, that's the one. Match Struggle function does lead, I think, always to plus frames and can set up some really nice situations. Speaking of nice things, we got some zoning here into a clean air throw. That is classic Guilty Gear, baby. That is an Exert player. That is an XX player. When you have the air throws in your muscle memory, it can be sometimes like not a good thing when you have a OG player that just, ooh, but you can't DP there. So we're gonna get a close slash starter, see the maximum combo. Do we want the wall? It does get the burst back in time. And now on a warp path to basically maybe steal this back. And the wall doesn't have too much damage either, so YRC into airtight low. The opponent was pressing something other than low block there. Leif does reclaim the position back, and his super shoot kill, yes indeed. Leif is gonna claim the first match, but that was quite the roller coaster ride back and forth. First it was Leif, then it was Badoor stealing it back, then we went to the other corner, then they switched the pressure position a couple of times, but in the end, it is Leif who gets it. Yeah, being able to, for example, spend resources, either burst or YRC, to sort of flip the pressure around, super important in a matchup like this where both players can pressure each other for a very long time. Ooh, nice backdash. I reckon maybe even a reaction. Switching sides with the air fireball, very nice. And now we set it up, go into an empty low. There we go, was able to set one ball as well. And that's gonna make relevant difference to the super that you usually want to wall break with. So generally, like, you don't want to go into Dark Angel necessarily. Use the new super instead and do a little bit of extra damage with the sort of the balls that you've been able to summon. Especially if you wall stick with your normals and you have that cancel option into summon ball, then you might as well go for it before the super for a little bit of the extra damage. Again, being very patient, defensive here. However, Leif picks the perfect timing for the instant air dash approach. Back to the zoning, and the zoning is slowly chipping away Leif's life bar. However, here comes the BQ. Oh, wait, what happened there? Missing the combo, and not just that, but flipping the positions definitely not in his favor. No worries, we got this corner carry, we got these combos from this Bridget character. Not quite enough damage to seal the deal just yet. Starting with 2S, being very patient here, but rather very careful. And with the jump D delayed overhead mix-up, the more standard one, you can of course always keep the pressure string very tight if you go with the overhead options. There is a little bit more counterplay on the low options generally. I mean, FDing the jump D of course gives you the ability to perhaps 6B on landing because you push Bridget so far away that they can't get a close slash, for instance. Again, setting a couple of balls in motion. One of the biggest differences between Venom's balls from the old games and the new games is that the balls have very little amount. Wait! Rolled straight into the super. That was a pretty large hit. The stingers are dealing quite a decent amount of chip damage as well. But here comes the set play from Leif. Got the ball. Oh, never mind. Yeah, wall slam, perfect. Again, this strategy. Don't break the wall before you have to. Gold burst is gonna be safe. Ooh, nice idea. But it was a little too late. Or rather, Badoor set it up in a way that 6P was gonna be possible. This is like the eternal fighting game conundrum. Are you gonna jump as a reaction when you see a fireball, usually making it be a little bit too late? And the opponent can potentially anti-air you if you do so. But if you really want to get the true punish against the fireball, then you have to instant air dash before you see the fireball come out. Especially with a 2P into Stinger. It's gonna deal a little bit damage and push the opponent away. Stinger is such a fast fireball though. Like both the DLC characters that have come out recently are probably some of the best fireball characters in Guilty Gear Strive currently, because like you can have that fireball presence so fast, completely different from, you know, stuff like Stun Edge that takes a lot of time to travel. Again, ready with the 6P. We've played Street Fighter, we played King of Fighters before. I think especially King of Fighters is where Badoor has some of these roots, if I recall correctly. 6P again. Ooh, but that 5 heavy at a perfect distance there. Especially if the Venom player is revving up a ball formation. Can be a nice precision tool to snipe him out of those ball summons. Because you do have a little bit of extra range compared to many other characters. Again, the reaction backdash out of the Rock the Baby. I think the Stinger with punish there on the landing, on the dive kick as well. But good presence of mind for Leif, realizing that was going to be a punish if you don't use the PRC there. All right, burst here. We still have a life advantage for Badoor. Nice using it. The Stinger is actually so fast that you can kind of use it as a whiff punish. If you move backwards and Bridget misses one of her big buttons. But this should be, this should be quite good for Leif. Rounds are 1-1. There we go with the instant air dash read before the Stinger leaves the Venom player's hands. And at this point, it's gonna be that blender trademark that we know. 2/3 of your life gone. What now? Once again, starts with a 2S. And since we had a lot of that burst meter ready to be spent, we can use Wild Assault and we can guarantee a really nice pressure position. This is basically the safest kind of gameplay loop that you have for Bridget. Like when you engage with your 2S from really far away, I think that's basically Leif saying like, okay, so I'll start my pressure and you literally cannot do anything about it. Even if you try to wire C, I'm too far away. Maybe a backdash would be able to do it. I think 2S has like limited active frames, and if you play that range, then you know the opponent is at a very opportune backdash range. First DP here, or I think second, being very patient with those DPs. And to be fair, there isn't necessarily a whole lot of spots to maybe reverse the. Ooh, go straight into the command grab from the wire C. Not necessarily the most damaging command grab, but lots of corner carry potential and setup potential at the end. And since Pipe Heavy from Venom is also vacuuming normal, just like Testament's too heavy, you can put your opponent in a position where you're like, okay, am I gonna cancel this for a frame trap, or am I gonna cancel into the command grab instead for the throw mix-up? Life has to be really careful. Oh my god, that was from really far away. Aligning perfectly from the maximum distance. Air throw, baby. And again, look at that. Look at those fundamentals. Look at those classic OG Guilty Gear fundamentals. I mean, arguably in Guilty Gear Strive, air-to-airs are really powerful and air throws are a little bit slower than they were in the past. So I think a lot of new generation Strive players are not that much about the air throws, but instead go for the bigger rewards and try to land their like jump Ks, jump slashes, whatever their preferred air-to-air button tends to be. Ooh, Q5? Is that? I forgot how much recovery that has, if that's with punishable or not. But now Life, the blender is in motion. We have the 50 as well. Are we gonna go for the safe play again? 2S from distance and then use Wild Assault? No! We go into the... We commit this time! Setting up expectations. Life has been playing it so safe. So Badoor was like, okay, if you do the 2S again, I'm gonna backdash out of it. But that's when Life played an option that was gonna call it out. And that's a cool option as well, using the command grab, because it reaches really far away. So if you dash deep enough, you will still catch the backdash, but it will also catch the opponent respecting, because it is a throw. So serves multiple functions. Oh, are we good here? Oh. Uh-oh. Maybe only a hiccup for spectators. One can only hope. Yeah, I think this was a... No, wait. Huh? Okay. Huh? Was that a real match, or... I'm not actually sure if the players actually finished it. I think there was a disconnection there. Oh, also Badoor said that it was 2-2, so I must have miscounted, right? Which, of course, extremely likely to happen. Sometimes hard to pay attention to the score count when the matches are this hype. Oh, I see. Yeah, the funny thing is, I'm not sure if like in the end I would have actually permanently disconnected from that, but yeah, we can do it like this as well. Okay, so from a 2-2 situation, this time Leif maneuvering the obstacle course fairly well. Of course, it gets a little bit more tricky if you lose the ability to pressure Venom, and if Venom has enough time to summon some extra balls, cover more angles, like so, it gets a little bit more. It's a little harder to deal with that obstacle course. Ooh, that was a comitative option there with the Roger dive. In we go. And looking for one more hit, potentially. Lots of damage on the wall. But with the super, I think we should be able to do it. Maybe hiccups on the road, unsure. But the battle continues. This is one of those far-range connections. France to Saudi Arabia, after all. So praying that the connection is gonna be favorable all the way till the end. Or at least somewhat favorable. Ooh. Again, the instant air dash was pretty well placed, but maybe a couple of frames too slow. It's literally a game of frames, game of math. Like, did you instant air dash early enough in order for it to be a true punish? And if not, then 6B is always an option from the opponent. Switching sides here. Yeah, again, the Q5, even if it whiffs, it whiffs actually so fast that Badoor has time to go for the 6B still there. Ooh, nice angle there with the air fireball. Going for the air-to-air interception this time around. But now Leif, this could be big. As soon as... Ooh, the counterplay, I was about to say. As soon as Leif probably gets close range, the YRC threat is going to be real. But that time, Leif used the... That was a really interesting scenario. Using RC so that you plummet yourself over the opponent. And then in the end, Leif was outside of the YRC range. I've never seen an interaction like that. But I did have a hunch that there would be YRC pretty soon. With that amount of life left and those resources, it's super important to get the pressure off of you immediately if you can help it. But you gotta wait. You gotta wait for Pridget to be close enough so that the YRC can actually land on them.
Duel 1. Let's rock.
Ooh, here comes the rolling movement. Cancels into the jump slash. Tries it again, however, this time Badoor ready with the 6B. Ooh, deeping the carcass rate plus frames. But since we are a character that doesn't, like, Brizzy really can't follow up her DP that well. One of the DP characters who basically just goes back to neutral. It's not the end of the world for you to get DP'd against her. It's a completely different kind of deal with DP characters like Sin or Leo, who either get like full close slash Oki or at least some sort of meaty still, even after hitting the DP. Into the corner you go. Here comes the deflect shield. Actually is able to push Leif far away enough to be able to RPS yourself out of the corner. Has to spend the RC here for a mix-up into very close to the corner. Yep, YRC breaks it once again. And with that YRC plus, then you are in a strike throw mix-up. It is really dangerous because it is a guard crush technically. So like it's really hard to try to, like, you can't really fuzzy anything out of it. So you basically are just straight up guessing. Is it gonna be the 2K? Is it gonna be the low? Or is it gonna be the command grab? But now Leif once again with a little bit of momentum going into this last round. No burst resources, but also like Badoor does have the blue burst, uses to use it on deflect shield. And that's pretty decent RPS when if you can manage to break the opponent's momentum. Instead of using the full burst bar, getting the deflect shield again and getting value out of it. So that was technically worth almost 2 bursts. Very burst meter economic kind of a sequence here. Backdash out of there. Badoor this time is the player with less life. Wonder if that's gonna change the game plan at all. Set it up. Is it gonna be high? Is it gonna be low? It's cross up into a low. Oh, the instant air with the jump BP converts it into a throw. OTG is not gonna be enough. But now Badoor with very little life to spend tries to dash forward, but we go with the yo-yo throw. The tool that we were talking about earlier that can basically say you shall not do anything for the next half a second. It will go through everything. It will, I think, nullify most projectiles as well that it comes in contact with. Not to mention it's such a fast projectile in its own right. Or wait, does it go through all other projectiles and it just doesn't interact with them? Either way, it's generally like a fireball to beat all other fireballs. But of course, it's a limited resource. Once it's thrown, it cannot be thrown again for a while. Ooh, can't be the too heavy into a big combo. Yeah, Badoor knows the power there. That would have been a wall break with the super as well. Wasn't able to get out. It's super important, especially with Badoor's playstyle, that you have at least a little bit of real estate always to escape into. So having your back against the corner is definitely not what is Badoor's idea of good time. Ooh, with the sneaky cross up, and I think that might be close to a kill as well. So close, but not quite. Ooh, there's the yo-yo toss again. From the airborne position as well, that basically guarantees life that because most projectiles, especially like since the stingers are strictly a grounded horizontal kind of fireball, the only fast fireball that you can throw. Ooh, but that time we get a too heavy counter hit here. Bam bam into the corner, wakes up with a 6p. Very common kind of situation if you notice that the opponent doesn't have time to go for a close slash. So if they try to far slash you, you could wake up with a 6p and successfully beat them. The low option from YRC this time. Although the 2k option is quite low reward, I think, for Venom. We'll try to mash with the stinger, but not successfully. The Kara super into, I think should be a kill, yes indeed. Even though that super doesn't do that much damage, the ender there, the guaranteed damage of the wall break, which is, I think, at least around 50 damage or so. Putting Leif to 5 points here after that 2-2 situation. Leif, again, just like in the first matchup of the evening, able to perhaps figure something out.
Duel 1.
I mean, I think Badoor also has a, like, I gotta be honest, I haven't been playing against too many Venom players myself, but I think, I'm not actually sure. Is this the gameplay that we tend to see from Venoms? Does it need a little bit of adjusting too? Ooh, that was a really nice angle there. Going airborne with the projectile and then sending it downwards. Can we get over? No sir, the projectile is gonna be, or rather the tracking of the super projectile is gonna be too much. Put them in the corner, summon all the balls at once. We still have one in there. It's huge, so close to the kill. And now the stinger, ooh, I like that. So purposely whiffing the stinger there to generate ball next to Leif, which will, if you stinger that again or interact with it again, it's gonna be some extra amount of chip damage, right? And because Leif was basically like 1 or 2 special moves away from being killed, that basically set up I think a guaranteed kill situation unless you're holding FD for your dear life. Right, into the Kara Super once again. Drop them at roughly equalized life situation here, but of course Leif with the advantage because the opponent is down, tries to go for an F Shiki, which Badoor casually blocks. But in turn, Leif casually blocks the YRC. Too heavy, that's successful. That's a really good trade actually for Bridget. Into the low we go, and that should be enough damage, right? Equalizing the rounds, 1-1. Starting to be a really important round here for Badoor. Losing this one means that Leif is gonna go to 6 points. Mixing up a little between the fireballs and the fire slashes. Here comes the command grab. Not able to react to it this time. It's of course like a little less likely that you're backdashing in the corner as well, whereas mid-screen, I think the command grabs have mainly come from a mid-screen position so far. So you could argue that, you know, some players would backdash anyway from those kind of distances. Ooh, this is a very aggressive burst. Putting Badoor in the corner. Oh, can we jump out? Yes, indeed, and the punish. Now, oh no, misses the enter there. That was gonna be Badoor's real estate. Oh, look at this. Speaking of the real estate, we got some. Masterfully evades the yo-yo toss from the air. The burst is gonna be back there. Badoor will. Oh, never mind. Leif plays it safe. I think Leif was probably worried about the burst coming back soon, so looked like he dropped the combo on purpose, maybe. But it's always really hard to discern which one of your combo hits is gonna build it back. So you might accidentally drop it too early, or it's also possible that you might drop it too late if you're trying to go for like a burst punish. Although dropping it at a point where it's safe, which I think that looked like a very safe drop kind of position. Oh, did Leif already have 7 points? did we mess up that badly for the score? No, I think the score is probably right here. So Badoor in the big chase. It's been basically all Leif since the first couple of games. Zoning did work out pretty well, and it is for the most part working pretty consistently. The problem is when you get called out, when Leif gets in, it's really big rewards compared to sort of what you can do as Venom. I mean, neither of these characters is by any means any kind of like super damage character, unless you have like some of the funky setups in the corner for your command grab, or like setting up a lot of balls and then going for the super. Ooh, both players playing very safe, backdashing out of the situation. The ball was still in motion. So scores a hit on Leif. Good on Leif, holding the FD on the way down. Knew that there was no way of challenging that anti-air position from Badoor. Ooh, and there is no escape from the corner. Tried to go for the clashing. And the YRC whips as well. The spacing is not good enough. Leif moves on to a set point position here with a full burst bar as well. Instant air dash was a little late this time, so Badoor gets the 6B. Ooh, into first decent combo opportunity. That's a counter hit as well. Would Leif burst here? The safe play is probably to save the burst towards for the last round, which looks like is gonna be Leif's plan here. Yeah, might as well RC though, even if you're like 99% sure that the opponent won't burst. Like, why not? Why not check if they accidentally have like an executed malfunction and they you know, panic and hit the burst button? Might as well check with the RC. Alright, looking good for Badoor. We have a lot of meter as well to spend. Meter and burst. Ooh, the cross up again! We haven't seen that since the first game, I reckon. And again, finds the hit. Badoor still in this. 3 games and chasing against Leif 6 points. We can definitely do this. We can definitely do this. When we get, like, it's been kind of rare that Badoor gets into that blender. I think it's partly because of the sort of the playstyle decisions where Badoor is like, okay, instead of taking a risk, we're playing it safe and going back to the zoning. sort of zoning kind of position. But that Oki mix-up blender there worked really well for Badoor. Oh, again, the Q5 whipping so fast, allowing Badoor to still go with the 6P there. Recognized that the far slash was gonna whiff, so spend PRC, make sure that the opponent goes back to full screen, and then we zone. And then we zone. Here's a... Leif has been trying so hard and finally finds an instant air dash, but now there is no burst available. And time to guess. Into the crab you go. It's always a little dangerous when like you sort of predetermine that, okay, I'm gonna go for the throw mix-up, but if they take your... If you take your... like the initial ball hit as a hit, then it can be hard to convert into like an actual combo instead of just going for the throw that you were sort of meditated that you wanted to go for. Nice low. Sets the ball in motion. Plus frames and DP again. It's been almost every single time as we go into the Kargas raid. Mid-screen, the DP comes out and it works out. 5 heavy barely misses. Yo-yo set, the PRC makes sure that Badoor is okay, but now both players are relatively dry on the pension department. Badoor is gonna... Wait, whoa, that was an interesting class there. Into the ball doesn't go far enough! It just barely misses Leif's hitbox! And again, the RC to bait the YRC! The one that has more meter for meter kind of interactions. The meta game of Strive. Starting with a far slash combo into big charged Q5. I think it's one of the only conversions that you can actually make from your far slash. Zoning is looking good. Oh, the 2 heavy trade here is favorable for Leif. And now, spending those burst resources, that's gonna mean that we don't have a true burst, or rather a full blue burst here. But I think the plan is that we are gonna spend it all in this pressure anyway. Wakes up with the 6P. That was not tight enough. Maybe human error. I think usually the setups are fairly tight. Ooh, I wonder if Leif tried to rev up a DP here. That was definitely a situation where you RC, you slow down time, you see the 5D flash there from the opponent, and you're like, okay, let me use my reversal. But might have been a misinput there. But that's exactly the kind of game that fighting games are. Maybe you know the right answer, but you have to have the execution requirement fulfilled as well. It's kind of RPS with execution requirement. If you wanna like summarize what kind of fighting games are, it goes for the hard bait here. Badoor not quite ready to burst, getting some value from holding the burst and making Leif drop these combos. But of course, as long as you can't better your position, as long as you can't get out of this corner, then Leif is not necessarily losing that much value either. Ooh, again, that tricky angle there from the jump K, launching the ball downwards. Plus frames, however, not plus enough to do anything relevant, especially against Venom that distance. Found a far slash, but again, Venom, a character that just can't get too many rewards from that far slash. Maybe that's something to be changed in future patches. I think there are some reward discrepancies, some rewards that Venom could use a little bit extra for. Oh, that's gonna be a punish! Was waiting for the burst again! However, Badoor is patient, not ready to use it, uses it aggressively here. Blue burst, put them in the corner, or rather, instead of putting them into the corner, this burst was basically, I'm gonna keep all of my real estate so I can zone, kind of a burst. Oh! With the RRC explosion that caught Leif there in the airborne situation. And now, Badoor with an overwhelming advantage. YRC is an option. Oh, tried to go for the YRC, but it produced the blue RC, which basically, I think, because the blue RC recovery, there was no dodging that command grab anymore. So Badoor, hanging by the thread here, going into, once again, last round. Set point position for Leif. And Leif with the full burst bar as well, spending it on Wild Assault, guaranteeing the yo-yo set. Here comes the set play, and it's gonna loop more, even more. The FD makes the 5D whiff though. Good usage of universal defensive mechanics for Badoor. OG Guilty Gear player would know. But it's so hard to get out of here. We're so dry. We don't have anything left. Tension is gone. Deflect Shield is our only unit. Oh, and the trade! The trade is gonna work out. Combo out of it. The big launch from Too Heavy Bridget. One of the nastiest buttons ever to trade into. You don't want to do that if you can help it. But sometimes you can't. And Leif, with a successful conversion from that trade as well, finishes up the game. That's one of the classic maneuvers that like a lot of Bridget players, but especially Leif likes. It's the player spacing perfectly in the corner so that your Too Heavy serves like multiple functions. One, if they try to instant air dash or jump out, your Too Heavy is gonna catch them, force them back onto the ground. But it could still connect on them crouching as well if you use it from close enough position. And that's kind of the function it served that time. Into big trade. Counter hit conversion. But good attempt to run it back from Badoor. Fighting from a 2-6 position, not an easy place to be, especially in terms of like in terms of like whatchamacallit, like mental position. You might find yourself despairing and being like, holy shit, I have to win so many games, it's almost undoable. But these old school fighting game players, they've been in those situations so many times, it's kind of like business as usual. And you just do your best, you do what you can do. All right, next one, from a very high high seed match into probably our highest seeded match of the evening. Grandpa ZoKHiZ, the big body player extraordinaire, is gonna face BLONE Sin. So, definitely a matchup that I have lots of personal attachment to. Like one of the matchups that I've grinded so much as Sin, because like we said earlier, it's one of those matchups that you have to play kind of different from how you usually play. But also I was able to spar with ZoKHiZ along the week a little bit, so it's gonna be interesting to see what kind of playstyle does BLONE adapt here. There is a couple of different ways that you can play it. Of course, you could choose to just play like you play any other matchup. Then you're just trying to rely on your high rewards and trying to catch the opponent off guard. The problem is though that Potemkin. So I didn't like to use this term priority, but if there's ever a matchup where I would use that word is if you try to poke against Potemkin, and Potemkin's pokes are usually gonna beat yours. Here's the problem though, so if Potemkin misses anything, it's you're straight into the funeral coffer, right? Because a lot of your normals, like even the S normals, but especially the heavy normals, they whiff for such a long time that if Sin plays the perfect distance, if they seesaw back and forth at like just around like the 5 heavy, Potemkin 5 heavy tip range, then it's not too much of a problem for you to go like a micro dash far slash whiff punish, or even whiff punish with Beak Driver, because you do have that new season 4 reward advantage you get from that. Didn't used to get that much in previous seasons, but now if you hit a raw Beak Driver, you actually can like erase half of their hit points, just like that, especially if you reach the corner. But even if you don't, like Sin can always do RTL. Sin is always gonna get the wall. So now, waiting with bated breath to see how BLONE chooses to play it. And I think it is the neutral-oriented style. It is the patient style. So ZoKHiZ is tough out of luck. I mean, ZoKHiZ has played against Sin players who had this exact play style, but he knows it's tough. It's gonna be tough. You have to be super patient as well. If Sin chooses to never engage and just waits for the whiff punish, there's technically nothing that Potemkin can do other than walk forward, build meter. Oh, was revving up for the 6 heavy, but that time BLONE went in for a throw. And now in this position, it doesn't matter who you are. It doesn't matter even if you're Potemkin, if you're the strongest grappler in the game. When you're getting pressured, you still have to hold it like any other character. Here comes the mix-up though. Ooh, throw out the corner. That's definitely not the direction that ZoKHiZ wanted to aim the throw at. The FRC, the classic! Covered by the armor frames of the active hammerfall. FRC into a throw. If the opponent is not striking at you and potentially RRCing, there is no stopping that. I mean, you could dash forward and throw as well. Maybe that's actually the reason. So BLONE probably knows that the only way to... Ooh, that's nasty. You spent the orange wild assault, lost the burst, and also got hit here. Ooh, that was a big heart rate there. Maybe expecting for BLONE to jump out. But now, speaking of the RTL, the KISS family specialty, we can break from all sorts of mid-screen positions into the overhead. And since we have meter, we can convert that meterless. Not a whole lot of frame Oh, I was about to say not a whole lot of frame advantage if you end your combos in DP1. So now ZoKHiZ into the buster. I think that kills right. Yeah, ZoKHiZ recognizes. Is it enough? Small hits. It is enough! Actually surprised here. Sin is a rather high EHP character, because they did increase Sin's guts, if I recall correctly, moving from season 3 to season 4. And this was exactly the kind of situation where those guts are gonna kick in, and you're gonna take less damage. Oh, here's the big driver punish, and a good timing on the burst. Let's see the, yep. ZoKHiZ has the best combo on board as well, which I think usually you want to start with a 2 heavy counter hit there against Sin DP. BLONE 0 stamina, has to RC here. Gotta be very careful. Ooh, interesting escape. I thought BLONE was gonna air dash towards the corner. The trade here in ZoKHiZ's favor. Ooh, big counter hit into, here we go. ZoKHiZ has these conversions on board. Basically any kind of big hit into Gigantor. And now ZoKHiZ with a little bit of a lead, but I think not an advantage, because what was that whiff punish? 5k? Really? Into jump PP, no RTL conversion here. But the target is still in the corner. Interesting, I think the 5k is probably a meditated option, because BLONE is whiffing it at neutral. Maybe a counter hammerfall tool when you have meter available. Has the burst here to be able to still fight for this last pixel. BLONE has the advantage, full stamina, full bar, or at least one stick of the bar. Oh, caught them with a sneaky L count. So generally, you probably don't usually want to risk the L count, but in a situation where the opponent just basically has no life left, it is a gamble that you can take. ZoKHiZ goes for an aggressive burst, tries to keep BLONE in the corner. Ooh, caught the backdash with a close slash. Uh-oh, instant air dashing into a punish. This is so good for ZoKHiZ. Went for the safe chap, 5B. If the DP comes out, if the super comes out, I think ZoKHiZ should be able to recover in time. Tried to go for heavenly BRC, I think, but the timing is not good. I think so. If Sin wants to really screw around or screw up the opponent's heavenly Potemkin Buster PRC sequences, I think like a super meaty hoof stomp is one of the better ways to do it. It's not the... Ooh, there's the whiff punish! This is the holy grail of why this matchup is so tricky for Potemkin when Sin plays like this. And of course, we always start the round in this position. Because like, it's like, what are you gonna do if Sin just walks back or backdashes? You can try to go for like some sort of weird Hail Mary, but even then, like, Potemkin is so slow for moving forward. Oh, that's gonna be a close starter though. And in the corner, decent damage, looking for one more hit. BLONE does not believe in the tightness of that setup. Went for a hard bait there. ZoKHiZ not quite ready to take it yet. We can take this combo. We can build more meter. Tried to go for the classic backdash buster, but BLONE was not home that time. Jumpy B, not a whole lot of damage out of that. It is a sort of a value proposition here between when you want to go air-to-air as Sin, do you pick Jump K or do you pick Jump B? If you, ooh, got the follow-up out just in time before canceling into, or rather when the hitbox of Slight Hit goes online. This is another nasty thing for Potemkin, because Sin often cancels stuff into stuff, especially special into special. So depending on your timing, if you touch armor on your early frames, or rather, if you're special on your late active frames of the special, you touch the early armor frames, then Potemkin can't really survive if you cancel into another special. And a super fast round here for BLONE. Yeah, even if you have basically like one of the best defensive modifiers or one of the best EHP pools as Potemkin, you gotta be really careful here going against Sin, because Sin is really explosive. Again, look at that! ZoKHiZ was a little late there with the armor frames, or rather, on the other point of view, BLONE was very early poking with that far slash, canceling into the beak, so producing 2 hits relatively fast. That hugely reduces the like ability to play with your armor frames for Potemkin. Especially when you still don't have the 50 meter yet. That's usually kind of like the holy grail for Potemkin. When you have more meter than your opponent, or when you reach your first 50 tension. Oh, that was a nice whip punish there. So moves like 6 heavy and Slight Head for Potemkin don't really extend your hurt box much. So if the opponent tries to go for a really long range poke or a long range whip punish attempt, you can really punish them for doing that. Right, that's probably an okay trade that BLONE takes when you get blown back that much from Garuda instead of taking it on block. Ooh, good RPS for ZoKHiZ, jumping over the 2S into the buster, caught by the safe jab, and we can definitely combo out of that. Boom. This matchup is so explosive and so full of RPS at like basically all moments. Even when you're like standing on the other sides of the screen, there's a lot of interactions, a lot of reads going back and forth happening, even during those slow moments. But these moments, oh, that's unfortunate. Went for the deflect shield, but exactly that time, BLONE was ready to use the Wild Assault. Still, we'll be able to get out of that position. Counter hit confirm into the hard knockdown. Especially the new season Potemkin stuff has. Oh, look at that whip punish! That's gonna be a kill, right? BLONE gets the burst back just in time. ZoKHiZ was just about ready to go for the super, and now slides into the buster. Evens it up 2-2. We're starting up exactly at the same pace as both of our earlier matches, and I reckon this time it's probably gonna go like this.
Duel 1.
2 extremely senior players going at it with the double jump. We get into mix-up range, however, BLONE. Oh, there's that 6 heavy! The 6 heavy that ZoKHiZ likes so much. I know some Potemkin players don't like the 6 heavy all that much. It's a really interesting move because it keeps your hurt box retracted for a very long time, so it's super hard to poke into it. And then it's kind of like a Slayer's, whatchamacallit, dandy step in a way. Like a mini dandy step, if you will, considering the kind of positions Sin plays in this matchup. Ooh, guess the buster. BLONE was like, no, get me out of here. Ooh, this should be a punish unless BLONE has the meter to spend. the one who has more meter at the end always has the last laugh, and the counter hit into who follow-up knows the combo as well. Ooh, but straight. Oh, I think the idea was to probably maybe cancel into the super here, but 100 meter RTL. I think safe jab works here, right? So has to RC. Good block on ZoKHiZ's part, taking the overhead on standing. It's not done deal yet. Any hit is gonna be good. Minus on the forward. What's it called? Hammer fist, not hammer fist. Mega fist. And of course, in that situation, you connect anything as Sin, and you're gonna spend the 2 stamina to get into close range distance. Sorry, close slash distance. Jump over, caught them. Aggressive burst, keep the opponent in the corner. You do have the massive real estate advantage here. Now on ZoKHiZ's part, though, you can trade for 2, like you can trade 2 stamina for a lot of real estate, though, because it pushes your opponent back so much. Can we switch sides? Yes, indeed. And spending the other bar as well for a hard knockdown. And this position, when ZoKHiZ doesn't have the 50 meter here on hard knockdown wall break, that's, you can kind of just go in and do whatever you want, right? It's the hammer for, it's the Heavenly Potemkin Buster PRC that you're, for the most part, afraid of. Hard bait here. ZoKHiZ does get the burst in the end. This time no beat, cancel. Oh, the backwards hitting hitbox of the jump heavy. The classic. Oh, caught them with another classic. ZoKHiZ, of course, an XX and Exert Potemkin player, loves, or rather would love, if Hammerfall breaks in pressure would be a little bit better than they are currently. But I mean, if your opponent is sleeping, even if it's very, very slow, you might be able to sneak in a little sneaky Hammerfall break into more buttons, or maybe even a Buster. Alright, winning a little bit of real estate here on the round start. This distance, BLONE waiting for a mistake. Goes with a whip punish, and ZoKHiZ commits into the cancel. Ooh, that's gonna be punished, right? That's so smart! He went for an empty close slash. A lesser player would have jumped in with a jump slash or a jump heavy, but BLONE is like, nah. We're gonna go into the move that has no proration. And that's gonna put you into a kill distance. Of course, wait, ZoKHiZ burst here? No way! That must have been a huge mistake. Now ZoKHiZ is at a hero burst distance. Can we, I mean, the hard part is getting back into it. If you do get into the pressure situation, yeah, I mean, you are Potemkin, you have a lot of damage, but my gosh, that must have been an unfortunate Twitch reaction there from deep within your spine. But maybe it doesn't matter. ZoKHiZ with a big combo, hoping with the 50 meter as well. Backdash works out. ZoKHiZ doesn't option select it this time. I think, yeah, I think it had the tension. Maybe it doesn't matter. This should kill, right? No? May. No. Too much wall damage. 100 meter on BLONE, and the stamina slowly coming back. Yeah, okay. I like this. This time ZoKHiZ goes for the close slash, which is the safer play. If you hammerfall at your opponent and RC, slow down the time, and you see that they are backdashing, technically, you should get the Buster if they don't spend meter. But if you commit to the Buster and they drift backwards, then you are the one who gets punished. Let's see the combo. Ooh, big damage. BLONE has a, I think, relatively optimal looking combo out of that counter hit 6 heavy. Certainly has the shimmy punish there, ready to go. Starting with the close slash again, no threat from the super PRC. Ooh, backdash this time from the side of ZoKHiZ. 5P, take into Buster, classic stop. Both players with, ooh, I think I saw Buster, and I think at this distance you can't RC anymore. That's the power of RTL. Post flash, there has to be like at least 3 character lengths between you, so that there is enough startup for RTL so that you can react with your own RC if you want to save yourself. Alright, the wall damage sort of bailing ZoKHiZ out in a way. Still takes a lot of damage, even though that was such a short combo. Yo, what? With the tail end of too heavy! ZoKHiZ still got hit there! The idea was to push BLONE far enough away and try to whip punish, but a rare tip range too heavy. Still got ZoKHiZ. Waiting for the DP, never comes out, presses 2k instead. Fighting games, ladies and gentlemen. Fighting games. The reward is huge. If the DP in fact comes out, ZoKHiZ is gonna get that too heavy counter hit, but you do have to wait at least like around 10-ish frames for the DP to potentially start, right? Which is enough time for the opponent to either go for like an immediate mash or a fuzzy mash of some sort. Got by the Gazelle throw. Ooh, tried to throw into Hoof Stomp. Hoof Stomp, of course, takes in airborne at frame. I forgot what frame it is, but it is one extra option for you. Ooh, whiff on that slide hit though. Again, waiting for the DP, so not going for the true meaty. RTL from this distance should reach and get the wall break safely. You can do a dash Tyrant Barrel here, but it has some requirements for execution. Escape there with a Heavenly Potemkin Buster. Ooh, we can go into the corner. RTL, yep. End the combo fast, get the wall break fast, but now look at this tension. 50 tension for ZoKHiZ. Heavenly Potemkin PRC is available, uses the threat there. BLONE, that is one of the options. A delayed super deep close slash is one of the options that would beat that Heavenly Potemkin Buster PRC, but instead ZoKHiZ utilized that and went for the throw instead. By choosing to save the last stamina instead of taking the wall. Two different kinds of schools of sin, how you can do it. And now as a result, we are gonna go into the next screen with one stamina intact. It's gonna be super good here for BLONE. Caught them. ZoKHiZ will have to find a burst at some point. Oh, never mind. That was actually so smart. Realized that the stamina was not enough. And that BLONE would still have to get another conversion here at the end. But now BLONE. 2 consecutive wins. Start with the jump B. No conversion out of that. I think Sin can only convert the jump B generally into RTL, but not a whole lot of more. Very common for Guilty Gear Strive characters to just not get a whole lot from jump Bs. Alright, that deflect shield did buy you a little bit of real estate. DP works again. Oh, into the Buster you go. Massive advantage here for ZoKHiZ. Can't walk back. Oh my god, the 6P on the far slash. And do the backdash. The backdash is in long enough. But still, BLONE is not bettering their position. Close slash though. Too far, unfortunate. The 5 heavy here. So 5 heavy is of course the more damaging conversion or a damaging linker here if you weigh between. Oh, nice with punish. And this should break without using the last stamina. Good choice of routes here for BLONE. And in this position, when you are at a really low stamina count, you usually want to play really safe and don't try to poke the opponent. Here we go with the Gigantor combos. Misses the ender here. This is terrible. BLONE will be able to get a wall break here into basically checkmate. The worst part, you don't have any tension as ZoKHiZ here. So we'll just have to guess. Hoof FRC. Does get the burst out in time. Jumpy again. I guess like if you connect Jump P on block, I guess it's a little safer than Jump K, although Jump K is pretty okay as well for Sin, because it recovers so fast. Goes for a backdash shimmy. ZoKHiZ blocks the overhead correctly. Oh, here we go! This builds 50. I wonder if it was a purposeful drop. This should be enough. I think ZoKHiZ might have dropped the combo on purpose to put BLONE basically on a close slash Oki situation. You needed another combo anyway, because you weren't gonna build that 50 meter, right? For any sort of Gigantor finisher. So drop the combo, it's gonna be a better situation, and then go from there. If you find the hit, it's the round. Now with 1 stamina pressure, ooh, instant cancel into the too heavy. Too heavy is a low after all, so it has some functionality, even if too heavy in general is not the best button on block for Sin. With punish! And leverages the stamina available as well. At that range, 1 stamina would not be enough. You would need 2, which is why Blown went for the Orange Wild Assault instead. And we saw this combo earlier. Big with 5k, 6 heavy, super. Wham bam, thank you ma'am. Whenever Sin has an extra stamina after those special moves, you're basically RPSing with your life. And again, connecting successfully on the armor. Here comes it again! ZoKHiZ is trying to press on those hoof stomps. Ooh, but the combo was not successful. And now big opportunity for Zok. It's gonna be a punish though. 2k2t RTL. This won't break the wall because your back is against the wall here, but it is a full screen corner carry. 0 stamina, gotta be careful. Orange Wild Assault buys you time. That's a punish! Even if you get the hit, that's a punish as ZoKHiZ knows! Now 1 more hit potentially. Force it. Would the YRC come out? No counter hit, and that's gonna be a kill! Oh my goodness! Starting with the far slash, yeah, it's a layer that you don't want to play too often as Sin, but once you kind of condition the Potemkin player that you're not taking risks, then you can actually start taking the risks and pressing your 11-frame startup. Round start. Ooh, nice angle there for ZoKHiZ. Jumps in on the hoof stomp. There is an option to burst out of this, but it's generally like, yeah, waiting for the Gigantor to sort of expire is much better there. Otherwise, you're gonna just you're gonna burst and you're gonna fall back into the Gigantor, and then you're probably gonna have to take some pressure afterwards. Nice 1-hit confirmed. Playing Street Fighter here. That is a Kara cancel though, so that was last of Blone's stamina. And the 6 heavy not close enough to connect here. ZoKHiZ at low. Nice pick up for the jump K! That was the first time that Blown went for the jump K conversion. And like we said, it's much better in terms of rewards than the jump P. Huge rewards advantage here. Ascending jump K into a descending whatever button that they used here. Pick up the combo and get a big BMB combo. Right, big gamble here right from the get-go, going in with the hammer fall. That is a sequence that would call out if Blown pressed any buttons, right? Ooh, reaches far enough away with that jump slash, prompting a burst from Blown again. Connecting on the armor in the best possible way. It looks like there's exactly one interaction in this matchup where ZoKHiZ was able to get the armor out fast enough. But for the most part, Blown with those cancels has been there at the perfect. Yeah, there we go. Okay, there's one more. I mean, when you're starting from neutral position, should be advantageous for Potemkin, but of course when you're playing neutral, it is never neutral frame advantage for the most part. If a shield works out, we get real estate. Ooh, jump K, calling out the Mega Fist. And the shimmy here. Do we have the stamina? Not quite enough to finish the combo. Supplement with tension. All right, small knockdown here. This might actually be ZoKHiZ's advantage. Ooh, this time he did not dare to go for the Buster though. Hat burst here. Last legs for ZoKHiZ. 1 hit is gonna be out of the game. However, reset into the Buster. ZoKHiZ so close. Actually, is that a kill? That's a kill, right? Went for the big reset there. Did you see that? Did you see that blink and you miss it? ZoKHiZ reset into the Buster, built so much meter from that Buster and was able to get the 50-meter kill. ZoKHiZ still alive. Avoided from having to RPS another time. Or I mean, technically the reset is an RPS, but it's a little different kind of RPS than just having to go for the Oki. Right, with a full stamina bar, we can definitely convert into this BMB combo from any special hit. Blown chooses to not interact with that heavenly Potemkin Buster. You do recover in the air though, and Potemkin always has the jump available! The hoof chases! That's not gonna be a kill, especially since we ran out of stamina here. The big interrupting buster. Here comes ZoKHiZ. Got them backdashing, but that's actually good for BLONE. Taking just a 5B as a punish and getting sent full screen. ZoKHiZ gets the wall, burst back here, has to go for it. No! He RPSs, he thought. He said BLONE is gonna drop it. I think BLONE will drop it, but he did not. He did not drop it. The RPS there at the end, very high layer yummy. But BLONE did not care about the burst. Just said, I'm gonna kill or I'm gonna take your burst. Either way, I'm gonna get some sort of value. Very even set at the start and the mid game, but then BLONE was able to get some, like, I think it was not even the neutral was good. Like, BLONE was getting the sort of expected amount of whiff punishes at neutral, but it was especially the pressure. The pressure works out so well for BLONE whenever you can get into an offensive position. And that low stamina play as well. Basically, I think BLONE made literally like one mistake the whole game, mismanaging your resources. It was that hoof stomp that hit, and ZoKHiZ recognized that's a punish. Even if you hit me here, you're -5. And when you're -5, that's a buster. But yeah. Really good game back and forth. Definitely worthy of a top seed match of the week. Now, moving on, we're gonna have a couple of Slayer matches coming. I think it's back-to-back Slayer matches. First, it's Dr. Sweg Slayer, and then in the next slot, it's gonna be Puuro. So two Finnish Slayer players. And in the first one, we got Scarlet, not on the Testament. So I think we had Scarlet for like 3 weeks or 4 weeks straight, right? Has been aligning pretty well. It's usually not expected that you get to play so many weeks in a row, but if it happens that we need exactly a player of your skill level, then it is always possible that you might get some consecutive ones. And I think Scarlet has pretty much always been like at a perfect skill range for sort of patching up some of the remaining players that have basically their quotation turn ready to go. But I think this is the first time that we see Scarlet on that Dizzy. I believe the main character is Testament, so this is a sub-character technically, so slightly lower skill level. But this is also a sub-character for Sweg, because Sweg usually plays Potemkin, right? I mean, Sweg has played a couple of different characters in addition to the Potemkin. One of them being the Happy Chaos. It's been a very common sub-character pick for Sweg, and now it's gonna be Slayer. Now you're gonna have to have really good control here as Dizzy. The neutral has to go perfectly your way. Oh, we're already activating wings. Although that 2k jab from Slayer immediately deactivating them. Wings is such an interesting tool that is probably gonna have some more potential in future patches. Oh, slip and slide on that ice wall. Sorry, ice floor. It's a huge advantage to get the ice floor off, because as you can see, the primary advancement tools, like I wonder what actually happens with Slayer's forward dash when you're on that momentum. Nice backdash to 6k into, what are we setting up with? Guard crush with a fully charged 6 heavy into Wings of Light, and then need to buy a little bit more time. I think it actually activates here. No! Sweg gets the 2p mash out just in the nick of time. I say no because like I'm always team Wings of Light. If you can show me a successful Wings of Light sequence, I'm gonna be so impressed. I'm all for that because it takes so much time for Wings of Light to resolve, and technically, like, you have to avoid taking any hits during that. Ooh, that's a big counter hit. No conversion though for Swag. Was probably expecting Scarlet to use the burst here immediately, which, like, it makes sense. You get hit by big moves like 2D from Slayer, 2 heavy from Slayer, 5 slash from Slayer, 5 heavy from Slayer. A lot of those buttons, all of them go into really, really good combos. But patience does pay off, and sometimes you, even if the hit confirm would deal a lot of damage, you wait for a couple of hits, you wait for them to start their combo, and then you burst. You basically, oh, nice, use a 5 heavy there. That's a lot of active frames as well, because it hits like 4 times or something. And all of those hits are like 3 active frames or something. Ooh, the very delayed Mappa Hunch here with the counter hit. Guard price a little bit minus, but in this corner position, there's not a whole lot of things that you could do. Tap them with the 5D hard bait. Scarlet. I think at this point, like, Scarlet is, unless it threatens the game win, we're probably not gonna burst. Especially when you see so many hard baits from your opponent. At that point, you're probably transitioning into a Yomi layer where you're just forcefully waiting for the baits. Like with optimal combo, the ender, that's a critical miss. I'm gonna get punished by the throw, which will allow DZ to flow into the set play. Use the Michael Sword, one of the biggest damaging instances to break the wall. Might as well, if you have no other choice but to break it. Yo, okay. Was reading the fake cross-up option, which takes a little bit of time for DZ to get back on the right side. I wonder if there was a... I wonder if that's actually a mix-up that you can mash against, or was that just delayed? Activating wings, wings are gone. 07. Maybe one of these rounds, the wings will have some value. I mean, you could argue that activating the wings is not a whole lot of opportunity cost, because, like, what are you gonna do instead of activating them? I mean, I guess you could argue that you can dash forward and get into good mix-up position, but yeah. That's a good trade for DZ. Gets a decent combo, 100 meter. However, a lot of the special moves for DZ are fireball functions, which means Swag is gonna have an opportunity to do that classic instant air dash and punish, especially that Michael Sword. Whew. Michael Sword has a lot of recovery. Right, definitely trade in Swag's favor. Yo, smacks not only the fish, but also DZ, because that's a multi-hitter. Long gone are the days when the fishes would just take the hits for you. They're not team players anymore. I mean, arguably in the past, the fishes were just absolutely obnoxious. Oh, the wings didn't resolve, but at the worst possible moment, I think. When Swag was already, like, pushed far away. And there is the condition that if you run out of tension, I think the wings immediately deactivate also, right? So it not only requires you to stall time for a very long time, you also need to have the resources. I mean, granted, they cost nothing to resolve initially. So while you're stalling for time, you might be able to build enough tension to make it relevant. Tried to press a button here, but the time is working in favor of Swag. Close slash missed on the backdash. Press it again. Guilty Gear Strive, baby. And that was definitely more akin to the Slayer rounds that you probably all have seen and potentially love. Yeah, when Slayer guesses right a couple of times, the rounds can be super fast. Starting with not the ice floor, so you have a couple of options. After the ice spike, you can choose to hold the button and activate the ice floor, which is usually punishable if the opponent is close enough. But you could also just not do that and play from there. And if the opponent is trying to dash at you, trying to prevent the ice floor being activated, then you can poke and kill them for that. Good survival here, getting through the counter hit buff. And this shouldn't kill Slayer. Slayer is one of the heavy boys, one of the high EHP characters, as they say. Oh, again, the 5 heavy. I think the 5 heavy has been the go-to move for Scarlet to prevent like approaching moves such as the Mappa Hunch from going in. The downside, of course, is it's like one of the easiest to whiff punish moves in the game, because of course it has so much recovery combined with its active frames. But if the opponent is already coming at you, then it is a huge stop sign. Try to go for a Michael Sword here. No dice. For Swag is pouncing forward, revving up that big punch. It's gonna hit so hard on Dizzy. Ah, the counterplay with a normal in the air. But this could be potentially a comeback opportunity. Swag has 100 though. Might as well use the YRC. Frame trap, and that's gonna be the end of you. Ooh, I like that, the micro dash 5k. So 5k for Dizzy is a really interesting button, and in fact, maybe interesting is not the right word, it's necessary. Absolutely necessary, because a lot of her buttons are so dangerous to whiff, and they're so slow to start up. A lot of Dizzy players like play with 5k as their primary poke a lot of the time, because it is the safest poke for you. And because your anti-airs are so garbage, your 6p is a pitiful excuse for a 6p. You also tend to anti-air with the 5k. Ooh! Swag has been hunting that burst so much, but in fact, it is Scarlet who's gonna finish the hunt. Go for one precision bait when the burst is super likely to come. I think that's kind of like what a lot of senior players like to do. 2D from that range, that's a special cancel RPS, right? In the previous games, 2D could not be special cancelled, but because it has a special cancel now, you're always afraid that you're gonna get counter hit by the subsequent special. 2 heavy whiffs, straight into the combo from far distance. RC immediately. Both players a little bit of spaghetti there. Forward dash straight into the Michael Sword. Oh, nice bluff, I like that. And when you get that guard crush with the 6 heavy, that's a potential opportunity for you to activate Wings of Light, which are gonna resolve here. No, at the last second, I think it resolved. Swag actually took a little bit of damage from those Wings of Light. It was literally 1 tick away from finishing, but got the burst out in time and deactivated the wings. 2 fish coming? Yeah. How are you gonna get past that? 2 fish on the board, that should be relatively guaranteed ice floor if you wanna activate it. What was that cross up? The floating momentum of Slayer's jump heavy. Funky stuff, or sorry, that's a jump slash. Reminiscent of the bicycle kick from old games. Into the 5D tap again! And of course, safest play here for Scarlet to save the burst for the last round. Now both players will have it available very soon. Yo, the 2P mash! The 5-framer to kill the blue wild assault. And here are the wings. Can we stall long enough? Swag doesn't have resources. Has the mash. The mash works out. But still not out of the corner. Watching the pressure with Mappa Hunch, RC, spend the burst as well. Ooh, this is a good place for Scarlet. 2 fish. Yo, what the Mappa Hunch just goes through. That's illegal. Then again, maybe it isn't. Nice challenge there. Scarlet was trying to charge the 6 heavy once again, but this time it did get interrupted. But I think a lot of these interruptions that Swag has gotten off have not been converted either. It can be a little hard, like when you get like a 2P or 2K out in a really chaotic situation, and you have to make like a flash hit confirm. Not the easiest thing in the world. Especially if you're, well, because your 2K 2D is such a huge commit as well. Because it's one of those 2Ds that just slides you into point blank distance and is minus a lot. So that's kind of putting yourself into a special cancel RPS. But yeah, probably gonna lose one round here for the nowadays slightly rare spectator disconnection. It's okay, still early into the match. Looking like Scarlet's game here, able to pick up 1 point. But yeah, as far as I understand, this is a relatively new character for Swag, so it's maybe understandable that you're missing some conversions here and there. Like there have been decently looking BMB loops, although like even if you do get a lot of reps of the back hitting pile bunker, I think Swag so far has not been able to successfully finish a full combo completely yet. Which again, fairly understandable. Even though Slayer is not the hardest execution character, there is a little bit of execution still. Like those loops definitely don't come for free, especially when you're just starting out with a character. There is a lot of value hidden behind those. I mean, although arguably on Slayer, even if you go for the baby combos, you do like ABC special move, those still do quite a lot of damage. Even if you don't go for like back hitting bile punkers, even if you don't do the optimals, you are still doing a decent amount of damage. Probably above average damage for like Guilty Gear Strive standards. So it's kind of like a value. Oh, no confirm on the two heavy once again. Was that might have been a burst bait though. It's hard to say if you missed the confirm or if you were just expecting the burst to go off. Right, YRC. Scarlet kind of had to, because like she's so low health here that you can't afford to get pressured by Swag Slayer anymore. Yo, the double jump to bait out the YRC. Wait, so he has a dead zone vertically as well? I don't think I've ever seen that before. So horizontally, it's quite a few pixels away, but that was almost right above the opponent. So he's hit. Interesting. I'm learning new things about YRC as a mechanic here. Come to think of it, I think we had another player. Yeah, we had Leif baiting it exactly the same way, being vertically right above the opponent. And I was astonished by it that time as well. But now Swag, time to combo. Ooh, or combo drop. Speaking of those back hitting bile punkers. Ooh, backdash into the fully charged 6 heavy. Activate wings. Danger zone. I think you're just dead here, yeah. It's a little bit of extra insult to injury when you have like so many different victory conditions going on. Like even though Wings of Light are a relatively rare victory condition, it's still value when you're threatening with like when you're basically saying, if I get the hit, if I get the normal hit, you're dead. But also if you are too passive, you're also dead. So it's like encouraging you to press into Dizzy's frame traps. Albeit she doesn't really have the best of frame traps either. Maybe that's one thing that could be improved in future patches. we technically have like what, we have 3 characters in the DLC Vortex at the moment. DZ, Venom, and Unica all perhaps waiting potentially for some sort of small adjustments or quality of life buffs. Although Unica is pretty decent as it is, to be honest. Big frame trap. And a good timing here. This is a big problem for Slayer, because a lot of your combos, or like combo linkers, move you forward, or the connecting pieces move you around, be it like Dandy Step P version or Mappa Hunch. There are a lot of positions where the opponent can burst you into the corner. And that's exactly what Scarlet was trying to do here, but in the end didn't get enough value with that. There's the 5 heavy again. I actually want to check frame data quick and see how active is that. That's the kind of burst here. Oh, this will reach really far, really fast. However, Scarlet was luckily blocking at that time. And I think if you're trying to cleave the full screen with DOT, oh, this should hit. So this is 5 heavy is... Oh, it's 666. That's a demonic number. So like what, 18 frames of actives? That's a lot of actives, dude. That might be actually, in terms of like, just stop sign buttons, one of the best buttons in the game for, you know, stopping Mappa Hunch. But of course, if the Slayer is a patient one, they might be hanging around the optimal K-Mappa range and just waiting for you to press it. And then when they see it coming, then K-Mappa counter hit into a huge corner carry combo. Good interruption again. Activating the wings as well. However, with the backdash from Slayer to the other side. 20 frame reaction check. Oh, what's happening here? Where the Slayer going? Where the Slayer going? I think Swag has some amount of leeway here to do fancy stuff with this huge amount of life advantage that they had going in for them in that round. Ooh, there we go. Still no hit confirm. I think somebody in chat was telling Swag to, oh dear lord, please hit confirm counter hit came up a hunch, which is of course possible for massive amount of corner carry. But again, it's one of those not necessarily free conversions. Yeah, maybe it's a knowledge check. Maybe, I'm not sure if... Maybe Swag hasn't learned that combo route yet. YRC works out. Ooh, but the immediate mash. The stakes are high. Like, when you connect a 2P mash in that situation, your opponent's back is against the corner, and you have such a huge life lead. It's kind of like a might as well kind of a situation sometimes, right? Even if it's Slayer who lands the hit on you, you're still probably gonna survive, although you will take most of your life as a... It depends on the wall damage, I guess. Did we put the lobby back in? I'm pretty sure we put it back in rematch, right? Right back into it. Scarlet at a 5-game lead here against Swags. There we go with the whip punish. And that's not the only thing that can be whip punished. All of her heavy buttons. Also that was that I think that was an attempt to apply the ice floor after. That's so smart. 6P into the fish, drift forward, check what she's doing, and if there's something happening, strike. Very decent amount of damage, especially on a heavy defense character like Slayer. I think Scarlet did not press. Yep, so it's gonna be a punish. Gonna get a close slash, can get a throw as well. I guess the reason you don't take a close slash here is if you think it's not gonna kill and you value the setup more, right? Ooh, there's the not a fully successful whiff punish, but even if you miss the actual punish portion of the whiff punish, you can still try to take your turn, which is exactly what Sweg did here on that whiffed 5 heavy. Wings again. The chestnut is a great tool for stalling for time. Yeah, there we go. Do you want to take the hit? So much tension at the literally last moment, Sweg gets the hit in and deactivates the wings. That was a really dangerous situation as well, because Scarlet had like 75% meter. That's a lot of fuel for wings. Oh, missed the combo, or was that a reset? That might have been a reset attempt here. It is one of the very common kind of resets in the middle of your combo, especially if you're not confident with your combo execution, right? Go into a P dandy step, go through them and reset with the roughly 20 frame startup pile bunker. Usually requires a 50 tension to convert out of it though. Counter hit. Oops! Oh, the hard bait again! Hard bait, baiting my heartbeats. None of those have been working out for Sweg. And I think, again, waiting for it, but it doesn't come out. Instead, I think Scarlet might just go for the wild results here instead and just forget about it. Although, holding on to that blue burst, that full burst meter, is still quite valuable. Even if you don't use it, like you can see the kind of madness things it can drive your opponent to do. If you're holding on to that burst, they're scared of it. Like they have to think about it. Counter hit. This time there was a hit confirm. But also this time there was also a burst from Scarlet. That's a good trade for his Dizzy, right? Because it causes so much tumble, that Michael sword. Into big combo, not really enough tension to finish. But a life lead is always a yo. Anime dash into a throw. Now we set it up. Is that fast enough? No. And the close slash. This time went for the close slash punish, but the 2 heavy was too far away to connect cleanly. No worries. We have the position. Sweg did DOT to basically the wrong side of the neighborhood, straight into the corner, which Scarlet was then able to fully utilize. Ooh, the far slash is pretty active as well, isn't it? Like, if there is something that Dizzy has for her normals, it is active frames, but that's pretty much it. They're otherwise like very underwhelming in their frame data. Yo, wings? But when you move into the other screen, the wings are gonna reset. Yes, you see the wings activation animation here. So now Scarlet will theoretically have to work for another activation, but it's kind of the same conundrum as holding the burst. You have to respect the existence of the wings, aka you have to mash at some point. You have to be aggressive at some point. Was that 7? Did we miscount again? I think we miscounted again. Yeah. So I think that's gonna be 7 for Scarlet. So finishing it 7-4. With the new characters, there is of course a lot of stuff to improve upon, and I reckon if Sweg manages to get some of those slightly harder hit confirms, slightly harder routes under control, it could potentially be a very destructive sub-character in the future. But now, amping up the... wait, can you say that? Upping up the ante. I was about to say amping up the antics. That's not the English we were looking for. Upping the ante a little bit, increasing the skill bracket here. We got around 1.7k range. We got Puuro and Petrock. on their first Bounty Hunters match. Slayer again, this time against, well, it is another Kisk family member, technically, but a very different kind of character. So instead of making any sort of zoning happen here, these two characters are brawling. So like Slayer to begin with, you cannot really control unless you are a character that has like a lot of active frames on the x-axis. If you can horizontally control Slayer's backdashes, dandy steps, stuff like that, then yeah, maybe you have a little bit of a like control-ish matchup going. But Sin is historically a matchup for Slayer who, like, if you like you can reach really far with your pokes, yeah. You can reach Slayer, yeah. But Slayer also has a really dangerous repertoire of whiff punishes on you if you miss one of your pokes. And since Mappa Punch counter hit is such a huge deal in Guilty Gear Strive, leading into a lot of damage and a lot of corner carry, you don't really want to whiff your buttons as Sin if you can help it. So it's all sorts of whiff punishing back and forth. You're basically all ranges of the neutral, you're basically guessing all the time. There is the, ooh, nice, got the punish there. So the Hand of Doom is, I think, -7 on block. Can get close slash, but the safer play is to get 2K 2D and go for your B&B combo. Ooh, straight into close slash, so we have some options for comboing there. Petrock waiting for the stamina to come back. There we go, 2 stamina, and you know what kind of cool things Sin can do with that 2 stamina. Even from a hoop stomp overhead, you spend the 2 and break the opponent through the wall. This character is great. Oh, there's an interesting interaction there. So Elk Hunt will always go under Mappa Hunches if your low profile is fast enough to start up. But on the other hand, too heavy from Slayer is a really dangerous tool against Elk Hunt. Counter hit into basically you're dead if it lands. You know, no expenditure of tension there at the end here. With the combos into the close range distance, placed a reaction check, but Petrock that time committed into the YRC, so did not have to deal with that. Ooh, going to the fuzzy throw. As one option that you can deal with Slayer stuff, either go for a fuzzy mash of some sort, and if the Slayer player is horsing around too much and playing too many like dash throughs, like you see, depending on the amount of frame advantage that you have from your Oki situations, you could have, I think usually like 2 dash throughs. I'm not sure if 3 is real in any kind of situation. But sometimes 2 might not be tight enough. Alright, got them with a stray bump ahead. And here's the DP towards the corner. And being one of the best DP characters in the game, if not the best, Sin Kisk keeps pressing on. Ooh, okay. I wonder if that was an attempt to go for a slightly more special routing with the blue RC. Either way, got them with the bump ahead again. Left, right. Petrock has been really good at dealing with the left-right so far, going with a decent amount of blocking, mashing, and reversaling out of them. The big FRC was trying to catch the opponent low. Yo, that's kind of cool, coming from an angle where you can use 2K to prevent them from jumping out. Alright, I'm excited. I'm seeing some Sin stuff that I don't really use myself or don't see very often from Petrock. Super exciting stuff. Out of the corner. Use the Mappa Hunch to get into meaty distance. Ooh, the frame chop into 2S. And I think, for the most part, Puuro is usually pretty good with the combos. Guaranteeing the wall break here. Spend the Wild Assault, and then the 50 tension at the end, 50% life. Usually the signature amount of damage that you're gonna be doing for ZoKHiZ. Great RPS there. So Hand of Doom is an interesting one because you can cancel any point of your backdash into Hand of Doom. And Hand of Doom itself, I forgot if it has any amount of inward frames, but you do have your 6-frame inward dash, so there is some amount of RPS to be had, even if like, because your backdash also moves you really far back, so it's good at making opponent whiff their stuff, right? Ooh, the DP actually hits on the drive-by. Neutral situation afterwards, but Puuro got... What? Converting into a fully charged 5D? Definitely worth a burst here that would potentially kill and or go for a positive bonus. But the neutral hammer here, catching Petrock, being in the perpetual state of not blocking, or not perpetual, but momentary state of not blocking. It's probably the better expression. Yeah, the whiff punish! I was talking about the whiff punish! Gotta be careful! The mop punch is a dangerous, dangerous tool. And now he's got the backdash! So, I think Slayer and Sin are the only characters who can, like, guarantee to backdash out of that 2 stamina burn. Not in the corner, though, so Petrock must have missed their close slash timing. Oh, no, never mind. Because the 6 frames is enough to dodge the active frames of the close slash there. That's what happened. But you didn't option select afterwards, right? The opponent is still minus. Ooh, got him with the close slash anti-air. No conversion though. That could have been big. It's one of the nastiest anti-air character if you get those close slash anti-airs. What this time? Convert. Go. Ooh! This time it works though! Close slash anti-air! Puuro ended up missing one button there. That was, I think, close slash into a far slash, but still, with that massive amount of bounce from the counter hit, was able to still get another close slash. And chasing the opponent down, Puuro. Achieving a slightly commanding position here early into this set. But there's still a lot of stuff that can happen. Still in the data collection period here. Straight into the big driver. Might be a good burst. Keep the opponent in the corner. Looking for the big hits. That's a decently big hit. We can go into the B&B combo. Master's Hammer was probably hoping for a counter hit. Usually counter hit Master's Hammer is the one that you're sort of looking for if you want to go for a big counter. Sorry, a big combo. Get the stamina here. This is gonna equalize the situation, but now there's a lot of things that Puuro could do here. YRC being one of them. Good stand up on the overhead. Avoids the threat for now. Couldn't cancel. I think was 0 stamina there, but stamina is coming back. So if Petrock manages to get in the commanding position, or the driver's seat, if, as we say, that 2 stamina is gonna convert into a kill, as it did here. It's a very common round start against Slayer, by the way, the instant air dash jump heavy, because that makes basically everything but far slash whip, I think. And challenging Slayer on round start is a little hard for Sin. With the full combo, resetting into the +1,000,000. Master's Hammer. Nice big L kit here, able to dissipate the... Yo, Petrock, how does your mom let you have 3 5Ks in a combo? Landing recovery? No, already recovered. So close slash dash cancel into a bait. Was able to get the bait in the end here, but it's not a D... Yo, you pressing there? You pressing there? My dude! But it worked out! I was so scared! It was like Petrock sees the Hand of Doom coming forward, slowly activating, but I guess they knew the frame. They had the frame goggles on, even though you can only see with one eye with that eye patch from Sin. Was able to recognize the 5K still gets in there in time. Crazy, crazy stuff. And the Doom works out this time. Being in the air against Master's Hammer, generally pretty good. Into RTL, yep. Good routing. Gonna get the hard knockdown. And the opportunity to stall for our stamina here as well. Petrock really seems to like that close slash into dash cancel for a lot of different... I guess for a lot of different functions. That's a big counter hit. But again, the Slayer curse! Your stuff moves you forward so aggressively that Puuro got put like straight into the corner and straight into guess for your life kind of situation. Here's the L count versus 2 heavy interaction that we were talking about at the start of the game. A 60% of Petrock's life gone, so it is always a risk to try to go for that L count, even though it does call out those Mappa hunches. Ooh, looks like 5K is another button that can call out the instant air backdash, huh? Ooh, straight into the hammer. Petrock, perfect timing to get the burst back. Straight into the corner. Puuro uses a counter burst here. Force it. Plus frames. Ooh, FR, 6K FRC into a 6K. Found the hit, but not the successful amount of combo damage. Puuro though, Puuro might have enough here. Pile bunker, not quite. Sin is a very, very tough boy as well. Yo, wait! That must be matchup knowledge, because the drift in the air over hills and far away, over the Slayer 2 heavy. That's actually brilliant. Putting yourself airborne there so that you are not vulnerable against that 2 heavy anymore. Because that is one of the nastiest buttons that you have to deal with. That's like one of your biggest worries in this matchup. Because you have so many good lows. You have your 2S, which is like one of your best buttons. You have your 2D as well, which is a decent button. Ooh, finding a hit. So close to that 50 tension here. Petrock might have actually been trying to input the super here, but of course it does not come out. Successful DP into more pressure. Ran out of stamina there in the middle. Throw does waste time a decent bit. Plus frames here, but only at far distance, so can't do too much with that. Really nice instant air backdash that calls out the Master's Hammer once again. Yeah, and again! It seems to be Petrock's probably the layer 1 response when you see Slayer move forward. It's like, from that dandy step forward, one of the more common options to reset is the Master's Hammer, so put yourself airborne. And punish it air to air. This is a big, big combo. Looking for one more hit. Oh, that's not a great trade for Petrock, unfortunately. So Puuro powers through. And in a, again, not the most like decisive kind of situations, but strategically very important round this one again. Petrock has an opportunity to go in a 2-round lead. A little late on that instant air back dash this time, but most important thing is to... Yo, I think that hits! That trades? I've never seen Tyrant Barrel trade like that. That's kind of cool. Again, jumping out of the Master's Hammer. I think at this point, Puuro must be registering that Petrock just has way too active of a counterplay against that particular tool. 6 heavy, the classic. The floating foot that destroys people out of the airborne situation. It used to be even better in previous games. It used to be the de facto, if you try to jump against my corner pressure, you're absolutely fucked. But I mean, it works kind of same way in Strive as well, because you have a lot of forced landing frames for if you connect normals on your opponent when they're airborne. Ooh, once again, the Elk beats the Mappa Hunch. Both players bouncing around. Slayer on the ground. Sin in the air. BNB combo. Looking for one more hit, finding the hit that we were looking for. It's gonna be close. I think that's not enough, right? So close, though. The last hit is what built the meter. Do we have 100 here? No, this is a risk. This is actually a kill. It's usually a no-brainer if you have the 100 meter to go for your super PRC and actually let the super rock. But I mean, RTL as a reversal serves a purpose, especially against Slayer. Slayer has a lot of backwards moving things. Ooh, the L count getting there before the 6 heavy from Slayer. The chase, instead of going for the air throw, went for the big money, trying to chase and get a ground to air. But now that has cost Petrock a little bit of momentum. Puuro equalizing the life situation, trying to go for the throw. Petrock having none of that. Messing out of that situation. Is the burst coming? Ooh. Spaghetti on the floor. The Wild Assault takes the burst away from Puuro momentarily. But I mean, arguably, you could say that Puuro doesn't want to burst here anyway. No way. The YRC from too far away. Yeah, if you're wondering how that works is YRC does not care about your hitboxes whatsoever. It is strictly coded to check the distance from your opponent, I believe. And if the distance is too far, well, it can never connect, no matter how extended your hitboxes are. Get a successful DP. We have a lot of resources to spend here. Go for the BM. Oh, a little bit of mistake here, but still finds the hit and the wall break. And at this point, you're probably wall breaking anyway. ZoKHiZ is one of those characters who, like, you could arguably spend all of your resources and it's still pretty okay if you get a soft knockdown wall break. Because Sin is pretty good at running away with like instant airback dashes and using buttons like 2S. Yeah, here we go, through the wall once again. Very little resources, but that's okay. Unless you miss your meaty! Now Puuro with a huge opportunity here. HKD is gonna be available. 50 tension, 50 burst for deflect shield potentially. We go for the YRC option. Yo, the tail end of the hoop stomp just barely finds its mark. But wait, what? Huh? That wasn't the, wait, wasn't it Bedrock who got that hit? Into jump K. Yeah. I like that. You would think that the more consistent option is the air throw here. But if the opponent takes the air throw, then you're gonna be put at a neutral situation. Instead, if you go for the jump K, and Sin definitely can because you have a very high hitting jump K, so you can get the hitbox out before the opponent can tech. If they block, you are plus on landing and you can start your pressure. Well, interesting. Chose did not spend the stamina here this time, so just doubling it up. Again, no stamina expenditure. But if you want to punish it, basically all non-follow-up special moves are punishable on block, but your opponent has to be ready for it. Speaking of being ready, Petrock wasn't ready for this one. Ooh, there's a lot of interactions here. Both players somehow getting out of that mess unscathed. I can't believe it. But I mean, it's usually like you kind of have to spend all of your resources or all of your attention to be safe. If your opponent keeps spending more, then you gotta spend more as well in order to disengage from those kind of situations. Missing the far slash, and Petrock going for the whip punish here. Conserving the stamina instead of spending the last one, spends the bar of Wild Assault instead. Really like those kind of decisions here. Once again, YRC gets rid of the left right. But now very low stamina, there it is, 2S. Would love to connect the 2S, but if it's too late, if there is a gap, if there's a big 5-frame gap, then there is a chance for Slayer too heavy to go active and low crush. There's the 3-hit 5k combo again. Right, I think good burst, so you avoid going through the wall here, which was basically guaranteed. Still, ends up happening in the end. Players fighting for the driver's seat here, 4-4. Whichever player gets the win here, it's gonna be this ride. Very slow, or rather very fast conversion, very few hits. But Sin is one of those characters who does so much damage with just the tire and barrel. So even if your combo is like two normals and a tyrant, it's usually gonna do a shit ton of damage. Was probably attempting the 6P to begin with, but ended up mashing it, so 5P into 6P Gatling it is. Still is gonna get the wall break here, and a cool little extra eat here in the middle when you stick with your normals. Once again, that Master's Hammer just isn't hitting. Ain't hitting at all. Has Petrock gotten hit by that even once this set? I don't think so, right? Was already committed into playing the stagger pressure there, so missed the hit confirm on the close slash, unfortunately. Still waiting for the stamina to come back. Yeah, again, it's the up back. The up back is ready to come out every single time. 100 meter. Can we catch? Oh, the big gamba is gonna pay off for Petrock. Puuro has 50. YRC available. Was trying to bait it there. I think the 2P is one of the few buttons for Sin that can actually bait it. Ends up being Bedrock. Ooh, YRC for YRC. Backers out of the DP. Now see the big damage. Or I mean, I guess if you combo from that angle, the pile bunker is gonna stuck then immediately. Both players barely whiffing their pokes, but this DP, yeah, good presence of mind. The usual play for Sin would be like, if you can't kill, spend the stamina on Gazelle Step instead. But if you can kill, then go for the DP2 follow-up.
Duel 1.
Basically it requires you to, ooh, okay, 2D starter can get you some pretty decent combos. It's a slightly strange starter for Sin. The players try the 5D reaction check again. Are we grandpas or are we young bucks? I get the ice cream again. I think the ice cream is the one that recovers meter, right? So that's the best one out of them. You definitely don't want the buffs; they're completely useless. Because they deactivate immediately. One hit. Ooh, yeah, that's a kill. Wait, no! Missed the 5K pickup there! Unfortunate. Still in the dominant position. In the minus frame distance now, though. That is gonna be... Wait, no! Not gonna be a wall break. I think a cute little reset there for the left-right. Or maybe? I'm so unsure. I'm so confused. Was that a combo drop or was that a sneaky little reset? Because that happened so fast from that angle that it's really easy for your opponent to be blocking the wrong way. I'm potentially stealing that. Yeah, the classic miss. Miss an air button out of your instant air dash on the hard knockdown wall break. And get a throw mix-up instead.
Mankind new. Duel 1.
Now Puuro is in the chasing position, has to get 2 games to bring this home. Petrock deeping into the right direction. In all of these situations, I think you kind of have to choose like which direction you want to try to attack from. There are, of course, some option selects which will cover both sides, but nice. I think that was an instant block as well. So basically a guaranteed punish there. Okay, Petrock drawing closer and closer. Set point position. Can we do it here? Aerial hit, so that's gonna go. I think that could go into a conversion even without spending the follow-up, but of course it's a little hard in the heat of the moment to see that's actually the case. With conversion into Tyrant Barrel. Chasing with the hoof. Yeah, had the stamina, or rather the attention to spend there instead of the stamina. Now Puuro will have to play perfectly from here on out. We get the reset! But it's 2+! It's 2+! Here comes the RTL. I think this is safe? Chooses to spend the RC to try to force the situation. Unsuccessfully though. Luckily for Puuro. Is that a kill? That's gonna be super close. 5 PP. And it is enough! That might have actually been optimal routing there on Guts Crush. Do as many 5Ps as you can. Try to reduce the amount of life that they have going into the wall stick situation and then finish. Petrock. A lot of very non-standard, non-linear, new kind of Sin things in this matchup. I like it. In a very close matchup as well. 7-5. Definitely a great, whatchamacallit, great debut match to show here. So that is the Slayer matches. We got 2 more to go. This would be the other Rocky Road Rocky Road connection potentially. Hopefully it's gonna work out though. Because it is a very interesting matchup, Unica versus Testament. Of course, Unica is probably the character that many players at the moment wanna see the most. Because she's the hot new thing. The newest DLC and everything. But this matchup is very interesting as well, because like Unica can't really be zoned. So the game plan for Testament is more along the lines of you're trying to counter zone. You're potentially trying to use the Arbiter Signs, because Arbiter Signs are basically manifesting immediately and homing onto your opponent, even at full screen. So that is potentially one tool that you can prevent the Unica from using her laser beam, which is her like counter tool to your zoning. So in a way, it kind of works the same way as a Testament mirror potentially would. Both players can call out their attempts to poke at full screen. Which usually that means if there is a sort of interaction like that, or what do you call it? Oh, we're going into the fireballs. I'm already liking it. When you see Unica player starting with the laser beams as if it was Street Fighter, that's my kind of Unica, to be perfectly honest. The patient kind of Unica. Yeah, this is gonna be a chess match. I love this. Alright, gonna go into the safe jump instead. Makes sense, because Calamity 1 is yes, the RC here. If you come down from the jump D air fireball for Unica without RCing and the opponent is below you, you're kind of toast. But now, Kero's opportunity to potentially put some pressure in there, thwarted by... I love the attempt, however, the instant air dash was just way too... No! Tried to jump away, but the furthest reaching, both horizontally and vertically, out of all DPs in the game. Nice, guaranteeing the wall break here. What, there was enough time to miss a blue beam? That's kind of cool. Lots of resources here. That's potentially gonna be a kill, or maybe not, because that was far range hit and the wall has so much damage. Right, Kero, attempting a little comeback here. This is the best. Wait, that's so much damage. Was there actually risk on top of that? Throw will trigger the curse. Misses with the bird. Got them with that up fireball. Blast frames, however, we say DP. Potentially 2 Arbiter Signs away. No, wait, no! I think Kira actually teleported into the right spot. Teleported right below Azor. Or Azor. And if they choose to not jump there, Unique is probably gonna land right next to you in a counter hit punish position. But I think Kero tried to go for the air-to-air, thus shoving themselves into the fireball. Unfortunate. With the plus frames, ooh. That's a cheeky option there, dashing forward after the up fireball. And the position. Interesting. That was not a DP, was it? That ended up trading there. Yo, the reach of the two heavy footsies. Both players, nice. So you can kinda, like, if you think your opponent will walk back too much, then of course that beam is an option. And of course calls out if your opponent tries to backdash. The session once again into a fat little combo. Finishing with the crow so that we have, moving to the other screen, we have the curse ready to go. Important 2k there. Was able to get through the curse. Into, yeah, nullifying the overhead mix-up with the use of that YRC. Ooh, big counter hit. Probably worth a burst here. Azor doesn't want to go down just like that. But Kero has more. No! I think health up fireball a little too much. There is timing RPS for like how much you're gonna charge that thing after too heavy. But since too heavy vacuums, if you charge too much, then you might be throwable yourself. Yep, same situation again. But now, since Azor was a little bit further away, probably hesitant to mash a throw there. Yo, the double jump, perfect angle. Jumps over the crow, baits the YRC, misses the punish. But we're still pressuring Testament towards the corner. That was a cute attempt to try to trigger the curse there. What? Hello? The YRC ends up whipping because the opponent was already being hard knocked down. To the other side, into a throw. Azor has so many resources. RC here, yeah, I think this should be a kill, right? Go for an Arbalest State, Megadeth Buster is gonna be enough. So... Let me see if we can get players to notice. I think Kero actually noticed that we informed players that we actually dropped out. There's of course these long-range connections where you have slightly increased chance of there being a disconnect. Because if the players, if there's a connection hiccup between the players, which can still be sort of recovered from for the players, but it is not recoverable from it is not recoverable for the spectators. It's okay though. We're only gonna lose one game here. So Azor with a 2-game lead. Especially, like, getting into the close range pressure is surely gonna be fairly advantageous for Unica. Because Testament, like, historically not the best character on defense. You do have your DLC 2K. And your, I mean, I guess you have a reversal super, but it is one of the slowest reversal supers in the game. You can use your super PRC, but you know it has an execution requirement, and it's just an extra level of RPS. After all, oh, did we do? We forgot to do this. Oh, can we get there in time? Okay, we got there in time. So Azor was the player taking the win here. A 3-0 start for the set.
Mankind knew that they cannot change
What
society.
is the adjustment here?
Duel
It's like it's really hard to sort of establish the game plan that you want to because of the laser beams. One could argue that Testament probably had. Oh, that's a big one. Yeah, probably immediately worth a burst as well. Finding the DP. Unica is one of those characters though who sends their DP target right back into neutral though, so she can never get any sort of pressure going on from the DP unless you're DPing towards the corner. But those are really rare cases. Yeah, immediate burst on the counter hit, too heavy. Ooh, and it's a really good anti-air as well. Really fast startup, huge hitbox. Look at hers here. Ooh, what can we do with this conversion? I guess not much. If you dial into the Arbiter sign, then your combo kind of ends there. It's more of a prediction that your 6 heavy or the whatever normal that you're using wouldn't land the hit, or alternatively would land a normal counter. Non-counter hit. There is, of course, even if you are also a zoning kind of character here as Testament actually has one of the like better angles on their instant air dash. So like instant air dash is a possible option if you want to hard read those laser beams. Ooh, hits unclean. Very sour-like hit there between the hits of the slide there for Unica. Into plus frames, yeah. Naughty. Azor has been actively challenging there though, so probably egging kero to sort of go for the frame trap options. That was a nice possession. Putting Unica in the corner, then putting themselves back in the corner as well. Oh! So I think if kero choose to use the more standard option, so extending or rather ending the combo with Nostrovia, that would have probably been bursted. But since they were basically hard reading that the burst was gonna happen, it's better to drift forward RC. Of course, if the opponent doesn't burst there, it's gonna be like sort of a little bit of wasted resources. But on successful read, it's actually gonna be pretty great. In fact, you're just gonna get the round right there. The session into the 2K. Azor was not quite ready to react to that. And going on the far slash with the dive. Sorry, with the slide. Yeah, with the MT2S. Not quite as good as some other characters like Sin, because you can't really... I think you can't option select their backdashes like majority of the cast, other than the slowest backdashes. But it's still a meaty 2S, and the 2S is a relatively good combo starter, so definitely can enforce that high-low from that throw situation in the corner. Looking for the anti-air, trying to go for maybe a close slash, turned into a far slash though there for Azor. Beam, yeah, gets there just before the Arbiter sign was able to go online. All right, break the wall with a curse available. Azor does have 50 meter though, couple of different options. Not sure what they tried to go for, but whatever it was, it did not work out that time. Connecting the jump K a little bit too high in the air would have to, I guess, cancel into other special moves or other normals to be more plus. There's the 5 heavy again! And with a big conversion, didn't quite have the time to achieve Arbalest state here. Like, the Arbalest Megadeth Buster might have actually killed there. It's kind of nutty how Unica's... I mean, of course, the Arbalest state or the empowered special moves are always, of course, better in all sorts of ways. But it's quite unique that Unica can also empower her nice air throw. Can also empower her super, and that increases the finishing touch of the combo so much. Yep, worth a burst again. I think 5 heavy is one of those buttons like the money-making buttons for Unica. She does like, no matter what kind of 5 heavy hit, it's always gonna lead into a ton of damage. Hold them in the corner, but the meaty wasn't quite there. Or maybe Azor wanted to go for a throw of their own. Nevertheless, that burst is gonna be gone, and situation equalized. Teleport once again. Every time you see, oh, here we go. It's a little bit more damaging if you can hit confirm that 5 heavy aerial hit into 2 heavy instead, or the 2 heavy follow-up instead of going into the 5 heavy follow-up, the standing follow-up. But I mean, the standing follow-up is, like, you can combo out of that too. You just lose a little bit of damage and maybe a little bit of combo ender potential. Curse once again. Sticks through the wall, but the high arbiter sign offers a good enough angle to get the wall break still, even if you're nowhere near. That was an instant burst on DP. Absolutely wanted to maintain the momentum here. Oh, the slide here. Red slide, always very dangerous if you do it raw without arbalisting it. Oh! You're gonna go for a ride. Here's the 2 heavy follow-up damage combo. Yeah, as you can see, it does so much more. Azor probably was like wanted to end the combo in 6 heavy into super, but wasn't quite able to get the input out properly, and this DP should be enough. Yeah, the OTG afterwards would have probably killed, so kero absolutely had to burst there. Dash in, DP, the second hit is gonna reach so far away, and counter poking the fireball from kero. Or Kero. Sorry. Oh, that was a huge commitment there to the neutral crow. Good teleport. Indeed ends up getting a lot of real estate for that RPS. Yeah, you can see Azor kind of hesitating and positioning himself next to the succubus marker now much more actively after seeing so many teleports from Kero. A successful one into a big conversion. Wow, that's the possession gameplay that I want to see from Testament. Tried to go for the, I'm sure what the special move is called, but the Dizzy's microsword equivalent. Very slow special move, but it has a lot of potential if it counterates the opponent. Nice little side switch. Get into the curse as well. Yeah, and because popping the curse is plus, or rather the arbiter sign popping the curse is plus, you get to kind of RPS more, and the opponent can't really dash out of there for free. Let's see the comeback attempt from Azor. YRC, can we get out of there? Counter YRC. Azor still has 50 where that came from, but not enough health to make use of it. So Kero getting those extremely needed matches. It's like, at this point, you gotta get a couple of W's in there before your opponent runs away with the set. And I think the possession RPS especially has been one factor that introduces it again. This time Azor chooses to just land in there instead of pressing a button, coming down, getting thrown out of the landing frames. Maybe the possession, the excessive use, or we shouldn't say excessive, the plentiful use of possession has been what sort of ends up confusing Azor's basic game plan. Because you have to check, it's a tool that cannot be unchecked. Otherwise, Testament is just gonna go wherever they want. Get out of every single corner position. Nice, able to dash deep enough to get a DP between the crow. Dangerous miss on the throw. Plus frames out of the 5 heavy dash cancel. Again, there's the possession, and Azor committed. If your opponent commits really aggressively, then it's huge value for you to just teleport out of the corner. There's an opportunity again. Goes for it. And again, Azor with the slowed down frames had an opportunity to maybe intercept. Maybe the red slide there could have caught, but way too risky. Way too risky. Ooh, the 6 heavy barely reaches. Goes for a little bit of a shimmy or a DP bait. Definitely works against those both. Getting the curse here. Looking for the curse loop. Fully charged 5D. Okay, that's damage for sure. Unless you drop your combo. I wonder if Kero actually has the combo down. A lot of Guilty Gear Strive players, they don't use that fully charged 5D very often, which means they are not doing that combo very often either. Alright, try to be sneaky here. Azor is drawing close to the 0 hit points. 2P is a safe jab! It goes to show how much it hurts when you have the slowest type of reversal super in the game. And now, Azor just mauling, plus frames, tap the 5D, don't even have to charge. Go for the faster version, 20 frame startup, baby!
Duel 1.
Yeah, that... So the Unica 5 heavy and the standing heavy follow-up, when dash cancelled, you can't really interrupt it anymore, right? You can just do it airtight if you want to. The counterplay is to jump out after the 5 heavy, between like when Unica is going for the follow-up, when the projectile actually comes out. No! Oh, that's gonna hit so hard! We got the successful big conversion! I think that's the second time that Azor successfully hit confirms it and moves onto the set point position. Oh, that was a nice idea. That Unica version of the Michael sword actually a potential option to whip punish up fireballs. Maybe even S fireballs. And maybe the last moments of the set tries to go for some sort of a momentum launch. Unfortunately, up fireball, the heavy version of the Grave Reaper, is gonna prevent Azor from doing so. Here comes the slide, looking for the burst. There it is, and that's gonna be a kill if you don't drop. And of course, Azor ain't gonna drop that one. Unica combos, relatively simple to execute, but super hard hitting. Especially if you start with buttons like close slash or the 5 heavy. If you get some sort of close range hit or use your heavy buttons, big damage inbound. Yeah, it's really interesting. Did you see that sort of the development in that set? We started with zoning from both players because they knew that's the layer 1. But eventually neither player was like relying on the zoning that much anymore. Because they know both of them have the counter options. Both of them have the opportunity to interrupt at any moment. So it's probably not worth it in a lot of situations. So it develops into this using your normals instead, approaching instead, dashing at the opponent instead. And I think if you can move onto that layer, I think Unica is probably a little bit better than this Testament at that kind of game plan. So unless the Testament player can, like, somehow bring the zoning into the mix successfully, it is probably going to be Unica's game to play, in a way. A really good showing from Kero as well. Welcome to Bounty Hunters. We are moving on to the last matchup of the evening. We're gonna have 2 more newcomers, 2 more debut matches. Only one of these can walk away victorious. Jokerstar, Milia. That is a character name I have not heard in 10,000 years. Milia probably like just as extinct as Zato is at the moment. Very few and dedicated players still playing this character. Let's see, what was Rat's Discord name? Was it... I I guess I don't need it, because I think we have both players in the lobby already. And look at this matchup. Bedman versus Milia. Have you ever seen anything like it? Even though both of these characters have been out for such a long time, it's probably one of the first times I ever lay my eyes upon this one. Another cool feature of this matchup is that I think Jokerstar is the first Bounty Hunters player that is representing Malta. A small little island here. Waiting for the burst, potentially. Like, first interaction immediately into the burst bait meta. Ooh, it's gonna be a big combo. Kind of have to, I think, kind of forced to burst that. Otherwise, with the error that Rat had rolling there, would have probably been able to take the wall break. And that's not very kosher. That's not a situation that you want to be in at the start of the round. Instead, Jokerstar is gonna take it to the next screen with hard knockdown. Ooh, that's so tricky. Using both the Mirage and then the new special move Artemis to switch sides 2 times in a row. And I think because Mirage, even if you cross the opponent, it kind of maintains your... It kind of remembers your... like, the distance that you're facing. It's because Artemis is gonna take you backwards out of that interaction, even though you are already on the other side of the opponent. Right out of the corner, we have the arrow rolling. Oh, get a frame trap here, so we don't even have to use the RC. I think Rat was sort of expecting to have the RC there in order to guarantee the timing of the error. But I mean, hey, if you find the hit before that, like so, ooh, that's gonna lead into a nice little heavy meaty disc. Some of the best knockdowns that Milia can get is, yep, 2D, that would have been one. 2D throw, and I think there's one more unique case where you can go into a relatively meaty disc, which will gonna get you your best mix-up situations. Oh, leaving the button active there on the ground, and the speedster running headfirst into it. That ought to be the kill, right? Rat catches the Rat latches onto the first game. Takes a quick lead here on the first game. Yeah, White Wild Assault is definitely a feature here. Not necessarily as prominent as against like characters who like to stay on the ground and like to poke against you. Against those kind of characters, yeah, White Wild Assault is absolutely beast, because you can power through a lot of things. But against Milia, who is... It's hard to tell where Milia is gonna be. Like, she's like a Schrodinger's kind of character. Is she on the ground? Is she in the air? Even if she's in the air, she could be on the ground after a couple of frames. So it's like... It's really hard to try to aim that White Wild Assault at her. Like, it is a huge commitment. It costs half of your burst anyway, so you never want to miss with that per se. Nice dash forward, putting Jokerstar into the corner. Ooh, that's an interesting way to call out the full screen hair car. Because there's a pretty good tracking on those air fireballs for a Bedman. So chances are, especially since Haircar has a very slow startup, that your spikes are gonna track her. Ooh, get them with the jump slash! Drops the combo though, that was a big damage opportunity for Rat. And now, let's see what we got. Frame trapping into the last shaker. Not the best knockdown, of course. Unless you spend meter on it. Drops the difficult loop. Oh, never mind! Happy little accident! We got an extra reset in there. Now Rat only has so much hit points to spend anymore. This is how it starts though. Ooh, the cross up with jump D. Dirty stuff. Can we do it again? Yes, indeed. We can indeed do it again. But even the hair card gets there in time before the ground needle goes online. I mean, I guess by virtue, the ground needle is a little more vulnerable against that tool. If you're in the air, again, I don't have to care about the hitbox at all. Yeah, very defensive kind of movement here in the game number 3 for Rat. Oh, the read is successful. Waits with the combo, baits the burst. And now Jokerstar with a lot of momentum going into this round. Positive bonus, full burst. Oh baby, there's just so many things that could happen here in favor of Jokerstar. Ooh, that was actually was that a punish still? No, I think Rat was just trying to press a button there. Good reaction on the turbo fall. And there's a lot of sort of shenanigan layer mix-ups quotation from Millia that you can in fact react to. Stuff like Mirage Throw or Turbo Fall. Of course, like Mirage has the option to cancel into potentially like Artemis, so it's not the safest thing to just press against that. Oh, caught them this time. Turbo Fall into a low. I still got the linker here. Unable to build the super. Already committed to Artemis though. So this one is gonna go with a soft knockdown. Jokerstar. Full on that tension. One hit. That is one hit. Can we deal enough? Maybe. I was like, maybe RC here to get an extra hit and then winger? No, it wouldn't have been enough. So that was the right choice for a right decision from Joker. Slides into the whip punish. Big recovery there on 6P. Oh wait, who gets hit? Oh, it was actually Rat who got hit against the Rose.
Duel 1. Let's rock.
Yeah, interesting situation. You usually the counterplay, if you see or like if you think that they're gonna go for Capel, then you need to react really fast and prevent them from getting the Rose out properly. Usually you go for an air throw to catch them as fast as possible. Yeah, there's a lot of anti-air RPS against Millia, as you know, many of you may know. Got the hit, hard bait on the burst. Cool thing about Millia is that when she baits bursts like this,
Duel 2.
she can kind of reset you into her left-right jump heavy stuff, which is like kind of safe. Yeah, you can't really call it out because she's like dropping her combo, and you're being knocked down. Speaking of being knocked down, got the OTG hit from the error. Not the best one, or not the best thing. You would usually like to connect the bomb head on block to get the guard crush, if possible, and then loop your victory condition, which is the guard crush loop for Madman. Or I mean your best victory condition. You have quite a few other ones as well. Like you could connect with your tricky 8-way air dash stuff. Connect that vacuuming jump slash, get huge combos. Maybe activate install at the end, stuff like that. You don't always have to go for the guard crush loop. It's like one of your best stuff, one of your nastiest situations that you could put the opponent in. Once again, the defensive nature here, trying to invite Jokerstar into those jump slashes. And if he indeed does take the bait, ooh, but it could go like this. You could be on the receiving end of Millia's jump slash instead, which is a horizontally massively reaching move. That was a really nice burst timing here. Not only getting out of the combo, but also taking the meter away that Septem Voices was basically used for. Let's disc set up here. Ooh, turbo fall to the other side. We got the mix-ups in this household when Milia is involved. 3-0. Jokerstar building a little bit of momentum here. Yeah, I think if there is one character that can get the round wins really fast, it's probably Milia. It sounds really weird because you're the pixie character, so you think like, wait, doesn't Bedman just like 2-tap you? But Bedman doesn't really play that fast. Doesn't really play that fast at all. Whereas Milia can play super fast, even though her combos don't cause like a whole lot of damage. You can get set played into death like this. Into another close slash. RC, yeah, FRC into a mix-up. Into another cross-up. Blocks right this time. But there's just so many stuff happening. Like, even if you manage to guard against all of her usual mix-ups, there's still another layer of... Yeah, another... Try to 6P there, I think. But Capel is basically an anti-air move. Capel is kind of designed to destroy grounded anti-air moves by staying like outside of the hitboxes of those moves. Because like she doesn't really have a hitbox on her feet, as far as I understand. So if you wanna counter it, you should go air to air instead. Usually air throw, like we said earlier. Oh, but the back throw here. This could be bad. Rat will determine that we have to spend the burst here in order to be safe. Although, it does not get Rat out of there. Soft knockdown, we have 50. A couple of options available. Both players disengaging from the situation. Or rather, Rat trying to engage and Jokerstar in response disengages. Generally what you want to do, because you don't want to try to RPS the opponent with slowed down frames. Ooh, the 5 ends up whipping. And now the jump slash, the power of that move. For more mix-ups. Trades with the jump D mix-up there. And by air 5B, won't be able to go into too much this time around. Nice jump out and the jump slash. That should be enough. Almost. Yes. No. Yes. So Rat still hanging in there. Only one game away for now.
Duel 1. Let's rock.
Starting with mixing it up a little and flashing the White Wild Assault. I guess the most important thing is that you don't get like counter hit by Artemis. Because I'm not sure if she actually gets a successful combo on. Ooh, baiting in between the air sequence into a big TK fast. What's it called? Bad mood. Error is rolling. We got the mix-up. Has to block the flames. The flames are not a guard crush though without your install. So usually you're a little bit happier if you can get the bomb head instead. But I mean sometimes you will have to work with what you have, and you can't choose your best stuff. Artemis knocked down again here of the soft kind. Ooh, pressing a lot of buttons, trying to invite the speedster into the buttons. The 6P actually still active there. Jokerstar commits, and the error unfortunately unfolds a little too early there. So now we'll have to go into the pressure situation without the error. But where does the anti-air come from? Eventually you're gonna have to make a choice in order to make, you know, Milia not reset you over and over again. This is good. We can use the spike, the air fireball, and its follow-up version, or rather its error version. Those are really good at dealing chip damage. Oh no, again! Kinda had to commit into it. Basically the next hit or the next the hit after that would have finished Rat. So didn't have a whole lot of different opportunities to burst anymore. And Jokerstar, absolutely aware of that fact. Ooh, the left right. This is a character who has multiple air dashes after all, so it can be hard to determine if you need to grounded anti-air left or grounded anti-air to the right, which is, I guess, usually why you want to have the air-to-air layer if possible. I am unsure though how available the air-to-air layer is to Bedman. Isn't Bedman one of the characters with a 5-frame jump startup and slightly different kind of jump? Unsure. Converting the 6P, tap into an RC successfully. Sees the vision.
Duel 2.
Ooh, into a big counter hit. We have the air going. But again, it's the flames. It's the follow-up that is a little bit harder to use. Especially since Rat has been getting, like, after getting the error rolling, getting the hit with the frame trap jump D, is it? You would have to know your routing really well in order to, like, get to the best situation and be able to utilize that rolling error perfectly. We'll try to go air to air this time, unsuccessfully though. Jokerstar with 100 meter. Slowing down the frames, and there is no escape whatsoever. There is a lot of momentum riding on the back of Jokerstar and Milia's hair. Starting with the 9-framer. Yeah, there is not much I think that Bedman should be able to do about that. Unless one of their K buttons are, you know, good enough hitboxes. I mean, you could always go 6B, of course, but that's a huge commitment. Finding the hit now. Wall gives in a little too early, but look at this massive, this absolutely devastating life advantage. This is a start though. To the other side. Yeah, we have Blender at home as well. Guard crush into glow slash. Oh no! That's a wrap! That's a wrap! Rat has done it! I was about to call it in favor of Jokerstar, but you should never call a match, or rather never call a round for Milia, for she is really prone to work-related accidents. Let's put it like that. The massive extended tracking of the bomb head error being showcased there. Suddenly Rat has gotten a power-up of some sort. Really nice spacing for Jokerstar though. Staying outside of the explosive head range. Even though it has improved tracking, it does not go completely full screen. So you can kinda, if you know it's currently rolling, it's currently being charged up, you can stay far away, especially in a super mobile character like Milia. She definitely has options for disengaging for as long as she wants to. Yeah, there's the K buttons. The K, was that I think 2K from Bedman that I think I saw? Ooh, but there's also the whiff punish on 6K, or sorry, 6 heavy. After all the 6Ps being sort of, what's the word I'm looking for? Universalized? Homogenized? Made equal. It's kind of equally dangerous for just about everybody in the cast for whipping that. Nice punish there on the landing frames. I think Rat was trying to sweep down with that huge jump slash, but Jokerstar had the perfect position to punish there. Utilizing the movement of Milia perfectly to your advantage. Good 6B, chose the direction correctly this time around. Both players have spent their burst, so now it's time to guess. From the turbo fall into a throw, and once you get the throw, that's when the fun begins, because you can actually set up the heavy disc. They do say that a lot of the times when Milia, when Milia gets the hit on you after the disc setup, she can't really get the same disc setup again if she wants to like cash out properly. So she'll have to go for some sort of other reset or mix-up-ish kind of thing. Oh no! Got hit by the big blast radius. Look at the damage. One more hit away. Although the back throw incident is surely gonna help Jokerstar quite a bit. And Jokerstar is also on the first set point position. Good 6B into 5D tap, drift forward to make sure that the deflect shield effect is neutralized, and then tap it again. Tippy to tap, here we go. Rat still looking to be in the game. Let's see what Jokerstar has to say about that one. Ooh, again, the backwards, the direction one into jump slash. Grounded anti-air is very dangerous. Once again, Capel baiting the grounded anti-air, but here comes Rat reading out the throw option. Deflect shield does get Jokerstar out of there. Spinning Septem Voices, lots of corner carry. Still a couple more combos to go. Ooh, yeah, I guess that was just an attempt to try to reset the situation. Gotta be careful now if you are Rat. Good 6B, but still unable to better their position. Still held up in the corner. Oh, I got hit by the jump heavy. That's surely gonna go into a big combo, and that's a win for Jokerstar. Clears his debut match on Bounty Hunters successfully. 7-2. The power of the speedster kind of character against the character who is like not really a zoner, but like, is it just me, or is like I'm actually struggling to analyze if Milia is like innately like super good character against Bedman? I think not, right? Because like Milia and Chip and characters like that usually have like an innate advantage against characters who wanna keep you away. But Bedman isn't necessarily like that. Of course, Bedman wants to start from far away, potentially to get an error. But even then, like, you usually need to connect the normal to get a relevant error rolling. It all comes down to like, can you anti-air properly? It's impossible to take the air out of Milia. And if you're too eager to challenge on the ground, go for the ground-to-air anti-airs, those are really prone to getting baited by Milia's numerous mobility options. Not just the triple air dashes. Or wait, does she have two or two, right? No, not three. Not three, not that many. But yeah, that'll be that. That's all the matchups of today. Really interesting lineup this week. Enjoyed a lot of these matches so much. Because we've been getting, like, I'm gonna be honest, we've been getting so many like Baiken players as of recent, and what's the other super popular character? We've gotten a lot of like, especially Baiken matchup as of recent, so it's really refreshing to have an event where you don't have like any Baikens, but instead have these matchups that don't happen like too often. So yeah, super cool. If you want to sign up for the next event, this happens every Sunday, 5 p.m. CEST. That's European time zone. If you want to join my Discord, for instance. The sign-up forms are going to be posted there in a couple of minutes after we go offline. And you probably know the deal. We'll try to set you up with somebody of your own skill level and somebody you have a really good connection to as well. That said, thank you so much for watching. I'll probably send you over to the gender cross-up, because it's actually a rare opportunity that we're live at the same time. So yeah, thank you so much for watching. See you again next Sunday. Same time, same channel. Till then, keep playing Guilty Gear. Any of the three is good. You have options. But I mean, I guess most of y'all are to play Strive. But yeah, see you next week. Till then, bye-bye.